Hello, everyone. Welcome to It's a Long Story. Trying something new again. I'm just gonna start just like low key on this, like it's a old like a low key podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome to It's a Long Story, a place where we roll dice, we tell stories. I give up. We roll dice, we tell stories, and we create magic. We are here with our awesome, amazing crew of the Wreckless. Everybody, take a look at your camera, wave, and say hi.
Hello.
If you are wondering what the heck we are, hi, we are a D&D live play group that runs every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, having 4 different parties, existing cave spelunking, I think, right? Going into caves in the same homebrew world, the wonderful, beautiful world of Imea. So if this is your first time here, hi, welcome. We hope you have a ball. Before we get started, just a couple of announcements that we've been running for the past couple weeks. We are trying our darndest to start our Humblewood drop-in, drop-out campaign, but we need players. So, hey, here it is. This is what it is. For those that have no idea, we are running for this month, most Sundays of this month, and then also including Saturdays next month. We are running a D&D drop-in, drop-out campaign in the style of the anthropomorphic animals of the sky and the land of Humblewood. So this campaign is called Humblewood, Silk, and Sunder. You are able to play a creature, as I said, of the land or the sky, all custom classes, custom races, a couple custom classes, some really cool homebrew spells, and the like. And it's going to be pretty zany, a little wacky, a lot of fun. We did a one shot with some of the campaign people. I think in January or February. No, February. And it was super fun. It was a blast. So we decided to do a full drop-in, drop-out campaign for that. But we need players. So if you are interested in joining for Sunday this month or Saturday and Sunday going into next month, please join. Typically what happens is when there's 2 or 3 people that are joined, all of a sudden it's going to go to 4, 5, and 6, and it's full very quickly. So be that second or third person, so that you don't have to be that have to scramble to be that 6th person. So you can do that. You can check that out along with other one shots that we run periodically at startplaying.games/GM/It's a Long Story. So yeah, please check that out. Also, this past weekend, last Saturday, so actually only a couple days ago, we got to run a very, very cool, very classic run. Oh, that's the old one. Hold on, I got a new one. No, we're gonna fix this. Good Lord.
Slow down, Bats. Come on.
Slow down, Pats. Come on. Don't you know? Where are you? Is it this one? No, where'd it go? There it is. Cool. So we ran last week the descent into the Lost Caverns of Sajkanth. It was freaking awesome, honestly. It was super cool. So Evan played, Dan played, Sarah played. A couple of other people joined in from other campaigns. It was a lot of fun. We are running another one this Saturday, and we need players for that as well. If there's any of you that actually look at this and go, this actually looks familiar, it is a remastered, revamped one-shot adventure from a adventure that was made in 1982, so in the advanced Dungeons and Dragons setting. So they made their own D&D Beyond is partnered up with Start Playing, which is allowing me to be the DM for one of the runs for that. To celebrate because D&D has turned 50 this year, and that's super crazy and awesome. And I know I've been saying that 4 times a week, but I still can't believe that I love this game so much, and it's really cool to be able to celebrate that. So So yeah, please check that out. It is a cheaper game than most of the other one-shots, so there's another sort of factor that might be interesting for you. And I can promise you there is enough minis and live terrain to make your head spin with the paint that I had to use to make all those. Anyways, yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of.
If you're watching this and you're not sure, do it. Just do it. You should do it.
It was a blast, man. We had a blast.
Yep.
So that is this Saturday. So make sure you join as soon as possible to make sure, one, that you're in and you also have other players joining you. So again, you can do so at startplaying.games/gm/it's a long story. Lastly, for our new moon crew, our Tuesday groups, we unfortunately did have to say goodbye to one of our players. So that means that there is a spot open for the Tuesdays, the Tuesday full campaign, known as the New Moon. So if you're interested in joining a full campaign, DM'd by yours truly, please feel free to reach out to me. Follow that same link. You'll find all the games, including that campaign as well. So you can check that out, and feel free to reach out to me via Start Playing if you have any questions. If you are interested in kind of getting more involved in the channel, the best way to do so is to be able to follow, like, and subscribe, not only here on YouTube or on Twitch, wherever you're watching from us, but also on our social media that we have right down below. So our Instagram and TikTok. Again, Drew, that's not where it is. You see the camera, you know where you are. Try again. I would say try. No, there you go. There it is.
Shit.
There it is. There it is. There we go. Nope, Sarah's got it wrong too. I don't know where Sarah's pointing. That's not. There you go. I understand that a lot of people are backwards on camera, but you do see your own fingers, right? You see where you are.
My forehead blinds me. It's hard.
Evan just pointed to where it says live, so I feel like I'm being told to wrap this up for some reason. Hey, we're live. Hey, just FYI.
Yeah. Stick to the script.
Stick to the script. So anyways, yeah, so please check out the social medias on that, and please feel free to like and subscribe and join us, but not in the creepy way.
Do it.
In the less than creepy way. Unless you're Evan, I guess for Evan it's either way. Evan's fine with that.
If you want, do you? If you want to join us in the creepy way, you do that. But
if you want it, okay. You want? I'll give you one creepy, and then after that, it won't be creepy.
Fair enough.
Hey.
Close up, heavy breathing.
No, I can't do it. All right. Please join us. And if you don't want to do that, that's totally fine. Based on everything I just said, that's fair. I get it. But we hope you enjoy what we have tonight. Anyways, but before we jump into tonight, we need to get an idea of where we left off. So, Evan, please do the honors.
Yeah, I will. Okay, so last time the group, accompanied by Nala and some goblin, continued their journey through the jungle to the mountain to explore its mysteries and find the Merlin Loke, bivouac, camp, cantonment, something, and also rescue Ogre's family. As they camped, Nala attempted to talk to Ogre about claiming to be a goblin while presenting as a half-orc, and had a somewhat heated discussion. Also may have called Yoon a slur. Further, in the jungle the next day, a spirit of some kind caught Kar's eye, and he split off from the path to follow it. We followed, and where he ended up was a clearing with strange lifelike stone statues, which, as it usually turns out when you're in the middle of nowhere and there are like expertly carved life-size statues, that was a basilisk, or something similar. Or rather, a basilisk and two stone arachnoid spiders basilisks. Unable to see, mostly looking at the ground, we would have all been pretty much screwed if it wasn't for Kar's clairvoyance and ability to see sight beyond sight. Ogra took the air with muffins in a classic move, and Yoon followed suit. After a few turns, the group began to communicate, and Carr directed the blind party members to fight the basilisks. Ogra leapt off muffins, turning into a several thousand-pound warhorse and smashed into two of the creatures. And Riaris, risking almost certain death, opened his eyes to drive his lance straight through the pulsating eye of a third, its gaze fading as it was pierced by his metal. Yoon eventually cleaned up the last of the creatures after the rest of the party weakened it, flying blindly until Carr called stop, at which point Yoon fired directly underneath himself with both barrels, eviscerating the stone spider and a nearby statue of a cultist. As the dust settled, we all stood in front of a strange door in the side of the mountain, wondering where it leads and also who Yoon might have just shattered, probably. And that's where we're at.
I never feel like I should specifically applaud these, but yes, unbelievable, beautiful. Gang, I doubt it, but Gang is. I do have to usually jump off and check the volume and all that other stuff for a second. Gang, is there anything else we missed?
Did you mention the door?
Yeah,
the door?
The door is there's a door.
So
door.
mini wise, and I apologize. Did I say it was a door?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. It's not a
Maybe-
door. My bad.
It could be a gate or a crevasse.
It's a crevasse.
It's a crevasse.
Okay, it's like a crack in the mountain.
A crevasse. It's a crevasse. Otherwise, the picture of tonight's session wouldn't really make a lot of sense.
Down with that.
Unless you guys wanted
yeah.
to start with, I rip off the door to this cavern.
A strong wind blows and it flies off.
Yeah, just God. I pay attention to the story that I made.
We actually
no,
just
I
leave
tried-
this door. We're like, it's just a door. Let's go around and find something else. Oh, look, a cavern.
It's the full railroading DM of like, you see another cavern, this one not having a door.
No, you blew up the door when he killed that one guy.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
Would we forget? Yoon does not like Fang, the goblin, at all.
Oh, and we have established Fang was still in the backpack on muffins.
That's right. Yep, Fang. Oh man, I forgot to grab Fang. He's upstairs still. I think he might be over here.
Oh no, maybe
Go power
he's
run
We
like-
could just leave him
We can keep
behind.
it busy.
You know, it's all right.
We can entertain.
Oh
Whoops.
My buddy, no. My partner
I-
in crime.
no! Was that a horse? What happened? Cool. Well, yeah. Let's segue. Let's jump in. Cool. So as you all are collecting your breath after the sorry, hold on one second. That is loud. Okay. As you are collecting your breath, feeling, I think for some of you too, like still trying to like possibly like kind of squint eyes as you're not entirely sure if everybody is out of here yet. You are perceiving in some way or another that you are currently at the moment safe. As you are all staring around at the party, making sure that no one is hurt and kind of making licking your wounds, so to speak, you notice the crevasse in the distance. What would you guys like to do in this moment?
I'm gonna check the statue. Any signs of like anything?
Which statue?
The one that was crumbled by Yoon. That was
Cool.
the yeah.
You got it. Give me an investigation check.
Uh, 18.
18. With an 18, you notice as you were kind of like looking through, you can see actually at a certain point you find two halves of the face, like front sort of face structure of this statue. I mean, as you put them together, you see that look of like shock and horror on this figure's face. But as far as anything else of note, you see nothing but stone and soot, and yeah, that's about it.
Hey, this dude look familiar at all? Anybody?
Just holding up the head.
Yeah, I'm just holding it up like over my head, like I'm still looking down, worried.
When you say it's split down the middle, is it exactly down the middle?
No, it's like just like jagged across the face. Yeah.
So is the mouth intact? Why are you asking these weird questions?
Oh no!
No, I think wasn't there something we did. I assume this is for Speak with Dad, right?
Yeah, and I was.
Yeah,
I
we
don't
weren't
know
sure
if it matters enough for us to use it. And if
Yeah.
it does, we could always wait. But
I believe we established. I thought we established last session, off camera, last session that that would not be able to be done. But I can check it out
Because
again.
it's still stone, I think, is what we had said. It's
Yeah.
not still.
I just wanted to
it's
make
still
sure because I wasn't.
That's
I wasn't
my
sure if it
general.
was settled, and I'm not
Yep.
fighting it. I just
But yeah,
fighting it.
Yeah, I'll say.
I'm just holding it. Car's throwing dust at me, trying to speak to it. Speak, damn, speak.
Yeah, I would argue in this case that I don't believe that would work.
Okay, no problem. I'm not. Like I said, not fighting it. Just now I know.
Right.
Petrified creatures. No.
Yeah, you see as Zed says, does anybody feel like this guy looks familiar? You see Fang just go, yeah.
Really?
Hey, this guy looks familiar.
Who is he?
Yeah. I don't know.
You know, where'd you see him before?
When I was running away.
Oh,
This is like super dry.
so he was
Running away
recently stoned.
From here or back from home?
When they were rounding people up.
I just immediately look at Ogre.
Ogre is still a horse.
It
still a
like
good
cuts to
scene.
Ogre, and it like the camera actually like cuts to looking for Ogre, and like zooms past a horse, and like goes a 360 around.
Ogre's looking at the crevasse. With her being a horse, could I like do like a smell check to see if I can like have since she's an animal?
I was so interested in what you were saying involving horses and crevasses. I was thinking in my head, like, what are you about to say? I mean, you can roll a perception check. You don't. There's nothing mechanically that as far as I'm seeing, as far as stat block stuff goes, that gives any extra abilities on that.
I don't even know if biologically the horse smells better.
I don't know why I was.
I don't
doing
think
it
so.
with an advantage.
I don't think of
Let
them
me
as
try
great
that again.
smellers.
I mean, they are.
Also, it would
grounders.
be with the horse's dex, which is 0.
Oh, then that's a 15.
Cool.
It's still not a bad roll.
With a 15, yeah, not bad. With a 15, I think as a ogre, as a horse, you smell wet, damp moss. It smells like this cave leads obviously into the mountain, but it seems like it's not like a determining, I think, also with like the idea of like a figure that is was a Merlin Low guard. You get the idea this is probably not a like a bear cavern or anything. It looks like this is possibly like some sort of passageway in here.
Does it? I mean, Car's no tracker, but does it look like there was more than this Merlin Loke going near or around the door? Like, are there
Uh,
footprints, multiple footprints?
Good question. Give me a survival check.
And I'll actually verbalize. I'll be like, I wonder if there's footprints. Just so that way anybody who's better than me might want to take a look.
Ogress is going
because-
to wild shape out of the horse and guidance.
Nat 1.
Okay.
Ooh,
I think I think Yaris would have been looking.
Yeah, I would say, hold on. Anybody at any point in time could give the help action to give you advantage.
I got him ready.
Yeah, so
I got him
I'll
ready.
give you advantage. Yeah, sure.
Cool.
I also want to check if there's any like Fey, celestial, whatever from my primal awareness.
Okay.
My second roll was a 14, which I will take over the Nat 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We got
And I gave you guidance.
Wise choice.
Go ahead and
Oh.
add the guidance.
And guidance. I missed that. I apologize. So it
Not
would be
looking otherworldly. I got an 8.
16 total then.
Cool. Drew, what are you saying right now?
Oh,
What
I
are
was
you
looking
doing?
to see if there's like anything that's like Fey, celestial, dragon, elemental.
Right, but what are you rolling?
I was doing the investigation. Right?
You said you have primal.
I
don't know.
I didn't tell you to do
Primal
that.
awareness.
Oh, I thought that you were like.
It also doesn't say to do that.
Oh.
Go ahead and read it and let me know if you still want to do that. Cool. With a 16, Car looking around, you notice that there doesn't seem to be any other human footprints here. Actually, let me do one thing. Yeah, you don't see any other human footprints. You notice that there's like some marks in the dirt that seems to one be like heavy three-toed, which does resemble the basilisk that you had killed, as well as some like heavy like marks in the sand. You feel like there's a possibility that that these creatures either came out of this or seems to have traffic of going in and around the entrance here.
Fang?
Yeah.
When you were running from these people, did it look like they were coming this way?
What?
You said you recognized the Merlin look, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you notice, were you too busy running that you didn't see where they were going, or did you see they were coming this way?
No, they were routed people up. You're reminded in this that there were Merlin guards that came and rounded up.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm
back in the
pointing at they
village.
rounded them up and came here. Like,
Right, well,
why
he wouldn't have
is
been
there
able to
one Merlin
do a-
look here? You see what I'm saying? If he was one of the people rounding them up, why is one separate in here? Do you see what it... That's
Right,
what-
but Fang saw them as they were rounding them up. There's no reason Fang would see them.
At Ogre's village, and then they went off somewhere, and then probably ended up here. But Fang was still, he's just saying he saw them over there, I guess.
Right, but the thing
Right.
is, I'm only seeing one set of human footprints.
Correct.
I'm just curious why this one left and came here.
Well, they might
Well,
have all come
what
here,
it
but
means-
just this one split off at some point. Yeah.
Maybe
Right,
he's the
yeah.
guard in the front of
Yeah,
the
he doesn't
door,
know.
and the others
He
are
doesn't know.
with their prisoners.
All right.
I will say, I think at
It
this
is
point,
strange to only see
Nala says, like, well, we're kind of far from the encampment. It's on the other side of the mountain.
Which way are the footprints? Are they going out? Are they going in?
They're going out,
Okay, so they're leaving the cave, I guess.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. 'Cause
Which is
that's
where
he
you found
is,
them.
Would be,
Yeah.
but if they were going in, but separate, or
So
Okay.
maybe this goes to their
And,
encampment? Maybe it goes under the mountain?
maybe didn't Chase say that Ogre's family was underground somewhere?
Maybe they're in here.
Yes,
Maybe.
Ogre's
Under
family
a
could
mountain
be in
is
here.
underground, technically. Yeah.
And
Also,
True.
Fang said this person was rounding them up. Maybe, there's more in there. We can go in the cave. Like, we've been in caves before. What could be bad in a cave?
Oh, I can think of a lot of things.
And she'll knock on a tree, like knock on wood.
Incredible. I think you Zed, roll me a dex saving throw.
Oh, God damn it.
And literally, just the word mention of cave makes Carl.
25.
25, cool. Zed, as Ogre knocks on the wood, you see just a coconut kind of swinging out, and it's like you're just like you look up at it, and sure enough, it just like falls off, and you're 25. You're able to just catch it before it even hits you.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna hold on to that coconut. Oh, and also I did want to spend a ranger slot for that.
You
I put
got
it
it.
in chat, but yeah.
Cool.
And if we have to be stealthy, Ogre has Pass Without Trace to make us a bit more stealthy in the caves.
Before I clean all this off of me, that last basilisk kind of exploded. Does anyone do anything with this? It's like a fairly rare creature. Does anybody know what I do with all this basilisk viscera? Or, I mean, otherwise I guess I don't have to have, there's more. I'll just clean this off, and then there's more if anybody wants any. But I don't know what to do
I'll
with
take
it,
some.
but you could just take some, I suppose. I would be careful. It is a basilisk.
I'm just gonna scrape it into a jar, and I'm gonna add it to my collection.
Would Ogre know the properties of a basilisk?
I don't think so. Give me a nature check. I will say, because I also rolled for Nala. Nala full on just reaches a hand in from the spider and is just yanking out this broken eye. Just in case nobody look at it, I'm just put it in this bag.
Full Medusa. Ogre doesn't know anything. She got a 6.
Cool. Nala says, if we feel like we have time, it wouldn't be a horrible thing to harvest some of these. Are you guys wanting to do that?
I mean, if you think it's useful.
I don't know the first thing
maybe
about
you
it, but it seems smart.
I'm the same with Gar. I think it seems smart, but I wouldn't know what I'm doing.
I got
Great.
basilisk too.
Okay. Yeah. Nope. Everybody, just pull a tooth. Find a jaw and pull a tooth. And you see, Nala has never been more excited to be with a group that has taken time to harvest pieces of magical creatures.
Just told Fang to pull teeth.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Fang is over in the corner, just. Yeah, I love that.
Dang,
Truly,
just that one right there.
If there's anything Fang has advantage on, it's pulling teeth.
Disturbingly good at that.
That is a nat 20. Who wants
my
to?
God. Oh my God.
Because it just doesn't make any sense for the NPCs to have this. Who wants to hold these? Okay, I'll say obviously Zed wants to.
I think Ogre should.
We could wrap them up and put them in the bag of holding too. Yeah, that might be the best. So they don't touch anybody. We wrap them up and stash them away.
Cool. Who has the bag of holding?
Yars does.
Okay. Cool.
Ogre would also get at least one of the claws.
Okay, you got it. I'll say, nat 20 Fang serves a purpose. You get. We'll say you get 3 claws, right? We would call that.
Yeah.
Claws of the teeth of the hands.
Claws of the teeth of the hands.
The claws.
Would I be able to get an eyeball, but keep it wrapped up?
I was gonna ask the same thing. Would it make sense that since it looks at us, that card would be like an eyeball might be worth it?
Yeah, absolutely. Hold on. That doesn't mean you have. I see people writing stuff down, so I'm just gonna make sure that we're clear on this. Fang rolled a nat 20. Fang, right? Which means that so Regaris, as being the one that has the bag of holding, go ahead and add. We'll say 16 basilisk teeth into your bag of holding inventory. Whoever said they wanted the 3 claws, they have the 3 claws. So I think that's Ogre. And then Car and Zed, you guys are both trying to pull out the eyes, right? So we'll say I'd say either medicine or sleight of hand. I'd be good with either for these. One of you can roll, the other can give advantage. Either way, totally fine.
Car, I'm giving guidance.
Well, hold on yet, because I only have a +2 on medicine and a +1 on sleight of hand. Zed, if yours is better, I got
a +3 on both.
I'll give you the assistance. Could you, Ogre? Could you give Zed the guidance, and I'll assist him?
Big pat on the back that takes the air out of you. Guidance.
And
knocks me over while I'm trying to get it out.
I will not look at it. My clairvoyance should still be running. I let that look at it to help guide him.
Great.
All right.
So
go.
There's a fun tidbit
7, and then it's a 4 that I add to it.
I have puppy duty. I'll be right back.
D4.
D4. You roll.
So you have advantage and a D4.
All right, so that would have been 11 for that one, and then for the second advantage.
What? Hold on, time out. So you're rolling twice?
So this is my second roll.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So my second roll would have been 25. My first roll would have been 11.
With the D4. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I was like, Jesus Christ. Okay, great. Yeah, 25. 25 is pretty damn good. So I'll say with a 25, Nala was kind of pulling in for one of the spiders. As Evan was giving the thing, all I got in my head was arachnolisks. So that's officially now what they're called.
I love that.
Arachnolisks.
Well.
But you have both the basilisk eyes with a 25.
All right, I'll hand one over to Car and one to me. Keep
Cool.
it wrapped up.
Car, you instinctively just duck out of the way,
I cover it with my hands and just walk over to Yaris, open the bag, please.
Oh, you want to put it in? Okay.
Yes, please. I don't need this thing right now. Just gently drop. Actually, I will take something and wrap it up first, just so he doesn't accidentally pull it out.
Cool.
So I don't know what it can do.
Yeah,
Wrap it up
rip off
first,
some of your robe.
tie it a little bit, and then it's there. So we are a basilisk guy.
All right, cool.
There's gonna be a certain point where you guys are in the bag of holding, you're just pulling out things. You're like, is this jelly? What is this?
That's if someone ever tries to steal it, that's all they're gonna get is just viscera and.
What is wrong with these people?
What I'm gonna do? I'm gonna break open that coconut, eat the innards, and I'm gonna keep the eyeball wrapped up inside the coconut shell.
Okay.
I like
That's a cool idea.
Keep that on me, so that way it's got a hard cover.
Okay.
So, Evan knows a fun fact about basilisk ecology.
Sure.
Can I roll unit, even a very high DC history check to have read? So, I guess basilisks turn things to stone, right? So, how do they eat? They eat the stone, and their stomach juices cure petrification, and that's how they eat. So it's the basilisk stomach juice is actually that's that's D&D lore, actual lore there. Yeah, so
that's great.
It's a pretty obscure fact, but you could have read it in a book of monster ecology or something. So could I make maybe a history check or something for that?
Yeah, I'd say history or nature, and I'll say because you brought that idea in, you have advantage.
Hell yeah.
24.
Nice.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yay.
Dang, you guys are rolling high for these. That's good.
This is the only part of the whole thing we roll high, just eviscerating this basilisk. All right.
Now that it's dead, it's easy,
Yoon, roll me a D4. I am also rolling really high.
All right. That's a 2.
Okay, cool. You have you get 2 vials of I'll say 3. I'll give you 3. We'll say it would be D4 plus 1. So you have 3 vials of right now, essentially basilisk stomach juices. Feel free to abbreviate that however you want. So I'd say, like, I think you would know with some work with like a herbology kit, most likely having to be in some sort of alchemy or alchemist sort of lab, you can absolutely make that.
Right. Like I remember, like, yeah, I know it does something. I'll have to, maybe I can take it to somebody and then, or I can, somebody can help. But yeah, awesome. Thanks. That's cool.
That's super cool.
Did I detect anything for?
Yes. So I was working on that.
Okay.
So one thing definitely does ping. You notice there are elementals present within 1 mile of you.
Damn it! That's not what I wanted to hear.
Actually, I'm so sorry. I'm reading the last one being undead. Yeah, there's plenty of undead.
Oh my goodness! I'm gonna be going insane on that.
Cool. I'd say, Zed, do you alert the group to this?
I'm gonna be so like angered but excited about it that I'm gonna tell them, but they're gonna have to try to figure out what deep speech is.
Jeez. All right.
Mommy.
No one. If you either know deep speech or you don't, mechanically. So is that what you're doing?
Yes, because I know it.
Cool.
I do not.
So you're effectively not telling them. I'm just going to tell you above board.
No, they're just going to hear me talking in deep speech, so they're just going to have to check my expression and watch me just sneaking in.
Yeah.
Is that
a
normal level of agitation or just like regular
Zed's on the move. Zed's on the move.
I think I'm going to be worried because he was just holding the eye and now he's speaking in like tongues. So I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
So are we all
nobody
going?
else has deep speech? Yeah. Okay.
Well, to put it this way, just to help you guys out, favored enemy is undead.
Cool.
Our characters.
If you want to help, your friends out, you could just tell them.
Seeing Zed go slightly strange, can I divine sense to see?
Oh.
Yeah,
you gotta be weird.
Yeah, if you want to also spend a resource to gain something that is useful for the party, yes, you absolutely can.
Yeah, you're just gonna be hearing from Zed as he just starts sneaking into the cavern.
Oh.
And I mean,
someone grab Zed for a second before we. I mean, I assume we're gonna go in there, but let's. I think he's being drawn by some unknown force.
I'm gonna
grab Zed.
I'm gonna stop him. I'm gonna try to stop
the
him.
The last time
again.
you guys heard me do this was when I was speaking about my past in the witch. That was the last time.
We have heard you do this? Oh.
Yeah, that was when I was blacked out and I started speaking in it, and it was with the witch.
Okay, yeah, as soon as you started to walk to the cave, then I am definitely going to restrain Zed.
Kaelinor, so you're using Divine Sense?
Yes, please.
You got it. Okay. That's kind of tricky.
Sorry.
Weirdly, you don't have anything come up.
Mm-hmm.
As I go to restrain Zed, I'll just say, Zed, you all right? You in there? Try to, pulling him back before, and if he tugs further, more forcefully pull him back. But
you got it.
I don't know if he responds or not, but
you'll probably see that I have a heavy sweat buildup, and I have an uneasy smile on my face. And I'm just dead staring into the cavern, pointing.
Okay.
Snap in front of his face, wave, get any sort of reaction. But just tell everybody, whoever's not close, be like, Zed's something's going on. K, maybe you want to look at him. Car, I don't know what's happening.
Tie him to a tree.
Kaelnor, as you say that, you are looking in the direction of where Zed is, and then you get a little blip of undead to go in and out.
Ooh. Oh, I don't like that. That's not fun. There's something, or maybe many things, undead in the cave. That explains why Zed's going a bit haywire.
Undead?
Undead.
What? Like right there, like
either in the cave or inside. There is something, and I kind of go closer to the little crevasse to see if it kind of pings a little bit more.
That's definitely not. I mean, spirits are one thing, but undead is. Oh.
Well, I mean, technically speaking, this is the point where we have this like kind of in between sort of spot of like understanding homebrew world sort of build things, and then full D&D mechanics. This is full D&D mechanics. Technically, ghosts are undead.
I'm talking from Carr's paradigm, his religion.
Right. So, Carr, you would. I know, but there's a translation-wise, there has to be an effect of like understanding that ghosts are technically undead, and Carr, you would know that for the D&D character that you represent. I get what you're getting at too, but there's there's a level of
Okay.
So it could basically that tells you it could be just that.
Yeah. Okay. Could be spirits.
Yeah.
And what?
Then Carr's reaction would have been more like, "Well, they might help us."
Carr,
It could be dangerous, though.
Why did you come this way?
Spirit guided me.
And are they? No, did they go in the crevasse
I
or?
didn't see. Kept on vanishing behind plants and didn't. I don't think it did, but
Was it goblin shaped or size?
elvish.
Okay.
You can't discern kind of intention, can you? Like, was it?
Only if they talked to me, but this one didn't.
You know, it's the sort of trickster one who's trying to lead us into a death trap, or like a helpful one that's, you know.
Exactly. No, I understand the problem. I just, unless it talks to me, this one was just kind of beckoning me over in this general direction. I don't know if it was to guide me to the basilisk, or the door, or the Merlin Loke, or something beyond this. I don't know. It didn't talk.
Well, you know, if we don't go in here, we have to go all the way around the mountain, and that seems just awful. So, I guess we're going in the crevasse. Unless anyone has any other, if they do, you know, we're just down. Anyone?
I'm thrilled with the idea, but all right.
I mean,
also, I think it's possible.
Yeah, I guess.
I think you're getting the same kind of resignation from both me and Nala.
I feel like I imagine Nala being like, "This isn't the right way. I told you this wasn't the right way." Do I don't have anything mechanically, but do I get any sort of sense, spiritual feeling from this crevasse, or is it just nothing? Like I don't have anything mechanically.
Give me a religion check, I think.
12.
You're definitely, I think, you know, like, and this is also like kind of judging from. I'll put it this way: you're not noticing anything right now. The assumption would be that if you get to something that is going to be related to Talia at all, that you would get some sort of reaction from Talia. But right now, if there was any sort of blip, it's so low that it's not really showing up on your radar.
Cool.
Above board, you don't get any information that the rest of the group doesn't already have.
Cool. Yeah, makes sense.
If we're going into the cave, I'm casting Pass Without Trace. Ogre's just going to take some dirt and just throw it into everybody's face.
Cool. Well, that was nice, but does anyone need to take a rest before we go in?
I could use a breather.
I'm down once. I mean, I cast a little bit for the clairvoyance, but otherwise I'm all right.
Obviously, you don't have to waste a spell slot. I'm not trying to make you waste a spell slot in the
Right, yeah, of course, yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if
I thought maybe short rest before we go in, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will tell you guys above board. I was gonna have you, because you're spending time doing this, gonna have one of you roll a d4 to see how many hours pass doing all this stuff, because it's heavy work having to harvest some of these things. But so we'll say someone give me that d4, but we will include a short rest in that. So we'll say Greg, give me that d4.
3.
Okay, 3 hours. We'll say 2 of which are just spent trying to kind of get these organs and pieces that you're doing in place. One of which is taking enough time to be able to maybe try to calm down Zed, as well as trying to kind of collect yourselves and just make sure all your cave equipment is ready to go. I think Nala is sitting pretty close to Carr, wherever Carr is on this. And I think, I imagine both of you are just staring at that black hole.
Yeah, I'm not thrilled with the idea at all.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah, the both of you aren't probably huge fans of going inside the buildings, or one thing. Is underground going to be a
I did it to meet Chase. I mean,
That's true.
I didn't like it much, but
Yeah, well,
sure.
I suppose if I was flying through the air without, or in a, that I would be uncomfortable with that. Or
Yep.
up on a high cliff, probably isn't my favorite.
Those are nice.
See, fair enough. Well, maybe we'll trade off eventually. I guess. All right. How large is the entrance? Like, are we gonna have to do, we do in marching order here as far as single file, or can we kind of go in and?
It's a good question. I think if you guys want to give me, if and when those sort of things happen, you guys want to give me a marching order now, you certainly can. What you guys are like, and we'll say you guys are conversing with this, of like the idea of like, if it gets to this, who's where. So yeah, go ahead and give me those now. Who do you think is in front? I will make a note. As we mentioned before, Nala is always going to be giving off some light.
Right. I think I'd ask if she was willing to be in the front, because that's helpful to light the way. But if not, that's fine. We have other sources of light. So.
Carr, would you like to have the elven boot so that way you get advantage on stealth, since you don't have the greatest stealth?
I mean, I can. I think somebody else would be better for
Never
them.
mind.
Somebody who has heavier armor. No?
Briaris?
Yeah, that'd be a better idea, I think. No?
I mean, I could. It would kind of even me out a little bit, but I don't know if Yoon or Kay. I don't know if you need them.
I'm fine.
I mean, if the Melamoke are using this as a passage, I'm kind of still in their armor, so maybe
Good point.
decoy.
And Zed, you are not going first.
Oh no! But I have advantage on survival and
You go first-ish.
Well, the thing is, do you want a big bright thing being shown up first when there could be enemies down there to see us coming before we see them?
Well, some people don't have dark vision, so probably I assume you don't have dark vision.
No, I do.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm part elf.
I will say, if you ask Nala, would you want to go first? Nala would. I don't know if Nala would say it, but she clearly doesn't want to.
I think, I thought about it first. I just mentioned that they don't want to go in there. Like, I think
Right.
there's some amount of that's fine. We'll find other sources of light.
Well, I
And
mean,
also,
if you want me to.
No, it's. I actually can see in the dark, so I think for me, it's not really a problem.
Okay.
though, who
Ogre?
can
Maybe? Who
I
can't
think
see
it's
in the
only
back?
me.
Just Car?
wait, no.
Yeah, me and Nala, I think, are the only two who can't. Unless Nala
Does see
does
in the
it
dark?
by virtue of being a fire wing, but I know that Eric
Okay.
Hawker don't get into dark vision.
Well, I mean, you would. It's on your sheet, gang. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know that I
Yeah.
do not.
I got
I got it.
I guess it is an elf thing, and maybe an Asimar. It's like every race except for human and Aarakocra.
Yep.
they really need to clear that up.
They do. They do.
All right. Well, it doesn't
Well,
matter because we're not going to be able to put out our lights anyway, so it's not like we're going to be able to sneak in the darkness with.
Right.
Unless someone has a big cloak put around.
Yeah.
It's probably just
I'd
light
say
on fire.
on average, Nala has 10 feet of 10 feet of, no, sorry, 5 feet around of bright light, and then it would be 15 feet of dim light after that, on average. If she gets emotional, it gets more.
How about, actually, Kaelinor, would you be willing to go in the front? Maybe if they saw you first, it would at least give us a moment to think maybe, she's like leading these prisoners, or, at least a moment of indecision to say like, okay, that's another Merlin Loke. Of course, if it's dead things in there, they're not going to care, but, I guess unless they're Merlin Loke. Anyway, would you be willing to go in the front?
Yes, Yoon, that's absolutely fine. I can pretend you're all new recruits for the Order.
Do you know any
My first
marching
cult.
songs?
Oprah have to wear her mask again.
Oh man.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Just
Yeah.
maybe the mask on just in case.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And she just does it, and her green skin, her pink hair goes, and she just has blue eyes, brown hair, and a regular skin tone.
Okay. When you say regular skin tone, do you say like typical of like?
Like Sarah's pigment.
Okay, so I want to make sure that you understand above board. That is strange. Most islanders have darker skin.
Okay, some tan skin.
Okay, you got it. Yeah. Obviously, you can have whatever you want. I just want to make sure that you know. Cool. All right. So I got Kaelinor in front. There's one.
You
I
already
think
know I'm gonna
Riaris
be
would be
like for the next one every single
Yeah,
time.
I mean, I think
so
Riaris
here's-
would want to be the close, but also be keeping an eye on Zed. So probably somewhere around Zed's location.
I was gonna say K, Zed, Riaris, then maybe Yoon, Ogra, and then the two Aarakocra in the back,
And then
and
Fang at
that's
the end.
everybody.
But they can't see well in the dark, so they shouldn't be in the back.
So he strapped to a backpack.
Is he
This is
still
okay.
attached to Ogre's backpack?
Fang.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I assume in a marching order, you just put him back on the backpack.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Cool. So
I'll put it in check.
we'll say it's just a small sort of thing to note. I'd say typical sort of like D&D class fashion. You don't necessarily want your wizards in the back either.
No.
Or your
I only
Yeah.
said that
So,
because
yeah.
I thought they'd be more comfortable not being sandwiched between two other people, that like being in the back is more open, and they'd feel like they have a retreat, and also they wouldn't be as enclosed. So that's my thinking as far as having
Gotcha.
Cardinal
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the back, but it's not
Cool.
necessary if we want to be more
We're
strategic.
going to be uncomfortable no matter where we are in this cave.
Yeah.
So for the defense of the party, I mean, Carl will definitely go where you tell him in this case. However, I do not mind being in the middle of the party.
Yeah, but it makes sense for him to be near Nala, so he can at least have some vision inside
Right.
there.
That was my
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
They have some vision, but if we don't want the two people in the back to
Okay.
not be able to see Barn behind them.
Then Ogra, do you mind holding up the rear?
Yeah. Ogra actually will feel very comfortable being in the back.
If she's in the back, would she be able to have Fang as like a an alert facing the back way if he's strapped to the backpack?
I love that. That's great. I like that a lot. That's
Could
very
use
cool.
Fang.
See, Fang is useful.
Let's see.
He said
Just
for
because
once.
he's looking doesn't mean he's going to
What?
say
He
anything
said
more.
for twice, teeth pulling, and now an alert system.
He did
Oh,
do a good
also,
job on
he
this-
is
did a
still- he's-
disturbingly good job on his teeth.
He is still all drugged out too, so I think
Oh
he
my
did.
God.
He did give all of his teeth to Nala, and Nala was like, "Thank you." Always a pleasure to serve the sun. Okay, all right. Well,
He's gonna
you
start his own cult for her.
now when like the marching order is explained and like Nala's like, yeah, I'm good to be far from Fang. So I have, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kaelinor, Zed, Riaris. So we have Yoon. If we want to put the main spells to put Kara and Nala in the middle, I believe that would be Yoon behind them, but that's up to you.
I think I'm going to stay, or I think I'd like to stay Yoon and then either Kar, Nala, or Nala, Kar if Nala wants to be away from Ogre and Fang. Not really Ogre, but Fang.
Oh, right, yeah. Right. So Nala, Kar,
Ogre, Fang.
Ogre, Fang.
Ogre, Fang.
Ogre, Fang.
It's far away.
Cool. You see, I do think at like a certain point you see Fang like, because I think Fang doesn't technically have weapons, or did he end up pulling a short sword from something?
He
No,
has a
he
short
got
sword.
he got the daggers. From,
got a dagger, didn't he?
what's
Yeah,
his
dagger.
face?
Yeah. I will say, I think because he like, I think he's trading that out for 2 of the basilisk teeth, because that just makes sense for his character. So yeah, cool. All right, we got the whole list. Right. So when it counts, this is the order, and you guys can let me know if
Yeah.
that changes for anything.
Cool.
Can you say it one more time, just so I...
Sure. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. Kaelinor, Zed, Riaris, Yoon, Nala, Kar, Ogre, Fang.
Got it. Thank you.
You got it. All right, you guys ready to jump on here?
Uh-huh.
This whole
pass-
time. Oh, go ahead.
Pass the
that,
trace. Yep,
Trace.
I hear you. Sorry. Yep.
Yeah, this whole time Zed's just been focused, staring at that crevasse.
Cool. You got it. All right. So without
Is
further ado,
that like responsive? Like, are you like responsive to people talking, or are you just entirely? enthralled?
I'm just focused on it.
Okay.
Like you heard me do deep speech, and then I'm just completely focused.
Before we go, as we're kind of getting ready and packing up and whatever, Riaris is going to pull out the bell that he got, and give it a little ring. Try to put it in a spot so it only kind of gets Zed, but basically casting calm emotions on Zed to try to calm him down.
cool.
So Zed, that would be a charisma 15 safe, unless you don't want to fight it, but I imagine you probably would.
Let's see. Exactly 15.
Well, there you go. All right, doesn't do anything. Nice.
Cool.
I do want to say before, like, as we're going into the crevasse, since Ogre is the last one, and the body of the Merlin stone person is there, while everyone's back is turned, she's going to stomp on what's left of it.
Fuck yeah. Absolutely.
And just
so you like
kick it
leave
with-
the head. You left like the head behind, and there's.
Oh no,
like,
she stomps it all to dust.
I'm with you. Like, so like the head was left behind because of like the mouth and like trying to like figure out how that would work. And as you see them all kind of step in, you see just Ogre turn around and just brush it. And you guys step on in.
Sounds
Great.
spooky.
I'm gonna turn the ring that Carvis gave me to echo sensory, so I can get a better advantage on perception checks, just so I can hear more things.
You got it. Cool. Right in time, too. Everybody give me a perception check.
It's a 12 for Riars.
14.
19.
I got 16.
Okay.
I got a 3.
I got 23.
Come on, guys.
Okay.
Making me look bad.
Great. As you guys enter in, you see before you this first cavern looks odd. You see there's the floor itself is still dirt and like actually has this almost muddy sort of texture. As you guys step in, you notice there's like there's a couple of spots where you guys end up like kind of stepping into puddles, and you notice that along the walls of this cavern are vines that seem to kind of grown in from the outside, and from those vines themselves look like there's various multiple like colored plants. Ogre, go ahead and give me a nature check.
16.
16. With a 16, you with a 16, you look at the plants as they are as you are passing by. You see them kind of they look like small little like dark green bulbs that open as you guys are walking through from Nala's light. Almost as if to kind of greet you. And you see in the inside of them is this, it goes from the center, like a deep red, out into a bright sort of flowery pink from the end of the petals. With a 16, you're not exactly sure what these are. You do see them react to something involving you guys walking by. You surmise with like putting like even like a shadow maybe like 10 feet above them, you see the bulbs start to close, so you're able to recognize that they seem to react to light. They do not seem to be a danger at the moment, but you're not entirely sure what they are.
And I'm going to whisper like, "Psst, you may want to not have too much light."
I can't do anything about. This is why I don't go in caves.
Like do this, try to cover her.
What are you doing?
Trying to
Is it
block
an
your
emotion
light.
based? Just relax. Relax.
I am relaxed. Did you hear? I am relaxed. I am relaxed. Everybody roll initiative. I'm just kidding. No.
Does Car see that the light may be doing something with the flowers? Is it like going towards her? Or
Yes.
something?
Well, I'll say, Ogre, do you relay this information?
Yes, I relate as best and quietly as I can.
So I will lean over to her since I'm there and I'll say, "May I?" And I kind of flutter a wing.
Yeah, okay.
And I'll encompass her as best I can with one of the wings.
Cool. This first sort of like entrance chamber is rather large. You guys don't necessarily have to be in your marching order, so to speak, right now. I'd say it's about maybe 40 feet long, and the width itself is about say about maybe 25 feet. Looking around, you notice that the vines themselves also seems to have like petals coming down off of it, leaves coming down off it that almost seems to cover the walls. Car, you rolled a 23, right?
Yes.
Cool. With a 23, you notice that the plant life is covering up most of the walls, but you notice that in like between the cracks of one of the like vines that are kind of descended down, you see there's some sort of carving behind, we'll say, in this area that you're looking at.
I'll quietly. There's a carving behind these plants.
Like a carving, or like a. Was it alive?
Car looks confused, and then when he says it wasn't alive,
Yeah.
like there's more than one carving. Oh no! When he says
Joe full on for a second is like now writing in his mental book of like, yes, have two-dimensional live stone people. That's such a good idea.
no, I think it may be a real carving. It's hard to say though. It's behind the plants. And he's not touching them. He's just like pointing at the wall.
Cool. You got it. Yeah.
Well, because Ogre said there's something about the wall of the plant, so he's like, I'm not gonna mess with those.
Right. And I'll say, just to make sure that I'm clarifying as far as everything in the vicinity, you also notice that there seems to be two rather large caverns. We'll say they're about 10 feet wide and 15 feet tall that seem to branch out left and right.
All right. I know when they finish looking at that carving, I'm gonna want to do a survival.
No one's looked. Well, to be clear, I want to make sure everybody's on the same page. No one's looked at the carving. Car's just pointed that there is a carving.
I would like to look at them, but it's dark, and I don't have dark vision, and it's over there. So.
But Zed, go ahead and tell me what you were gonna do.
I wanted to do a survival check to see if I can find tracks or any undead, and then what is it? A investigation to recall any information about him, if I know what it is, general, if it's a humanoid, if it's a creature, stuff like that.
Okay. I'll say we can handle that in a survival check. Go ahead and give me a survival check.
All right, so I get, what is it? Advantage. Okay. Nat 20 for 28.
Wow, 28. Cool. They 28. You surmise the footprints that you see on the ground, and this is a muddy room, so it's actually pretty easy to see because this figure was here less than 12 hours ago, I believe. You see there are tracks that are leading down the right passageway. Besides that, you don't notice any other tracks. It is pretty clear looking at the heavy boots. I think you also look at Kalinor's boots and recognize that it looks just like the same sort of markings, except maybe a little bigger.
Okay. So I'm probably just gonna be looking around with Riaris following me. And the amount of time it takes for them, if they're gonna look at the carving, pull the plants away or burn the plants away to look at it, so that way it doesn't interfere with their stuff.
Sure. So you're looking around the shore, but you're focusing.
Yeah. So probably by the time they finish their thing is when I find those footprints.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. Great.
Kalinor, do you guys have codes or secret drawings that may tell you where to go?
Codes. Yes. Secret drawings.
No. We're not artistic enough for that. I am. Can I very, very carefully just remove a little bit of the shrubbery to maybe see the drawings that Car has pulled out or pointed out to us?
You got it. I'm going to ask you, what would you like to use skill-wise to be able to pull away to see some of this, some of the hieroglyphic sort of markings?
I feel like a sleight of hand would probably make the most sense.
Makes sense to me.
Okay. A 16.
Why don't you take a beginner's luck just in case?
Love it.
Guidance.
beginner's luck is a D4, I believe, and guidance is also a D4.
Yes.
Okay, so that takes it to a 20, and I will roll. So 21 altogether.
Great. With a 21, you, I think, being very careful, Kaelinor, you like start to kind of like move the vines. Kind of like move some of the vines away. But you're being careful enough not to disturb the plant, or knock off any of the vines here. And it's enough that you're able to kind of do this as you're following along. So moving from one area, you see there are depictions of like a small primal looking like stick figure beings, all seeming to kind of like march in a line. And as you're going through and like going along the cavern, just kind of like moving through, and all the while just kind of staring up at some of the bulbs. All of the bulbs, by the way, are on the ceiling. I forgot about this. I'll mention this in a second because you nailed the check. So as you see the march, as you get to about where the right tunnel goes, you notice that there is a depiction that starts out, it's very confusing at first, as you see just like two heavy sort of pinpoint marks that seem to kind of go deep into the deep into the wall, and then a large like going from higher up, about as high as you could reach, coming down, seems to be like a sloping sort of pattern that rests abruptly where those two heavy holes are. And then as you go further down, you notice that there's a slant that goes that seems to kind of come back in that direction. You notice that there are jagged markings coming, small jagged markings that are coming down from that. You notice that you are looking at the tip of what looks to be some sort of large snouted figure, but it is so big that you're just seeing like this part here.
I think I relayed that, like, whilst she's removing some of the shrubbery and stuff, is relaying and whispering kind of what she sees. And when she gets the like snouted part, I think she pauses for a minute and just looks at the party and goes, "Do any of you kind of recognize, like, what is this?"
Yoon would have been kind of walking along with her, looking at it, kind of fascinated as she goes, and maybe even if there was a point where that roll meant something as far as moving it along, just sort of like accidentally bumped into her a little bit as she was moving the plants aside to just like readjust the stuff. So, but yeah, do I recognize it? I don't know why I would, but
I think you definitely notice that it looks like it's figures that are marching towards something, but when you look at where the figures are marching, so they're marching towards this figure of this like almost draconic looking mouth. But I'll say, kind of like with your help on this, Yoon and Kaelinor, I'll say like with Yoon's help on this, you notice they're not walking to the creature's mouth, they're walking into the creature's mouth. It's at this moment that Zed, as you are staring at the ground here, you notice, I'll say like just at a point of maybe like when Ogre is like kind of like taking a step back, you kind of like, I think Zed's just full on the ground. Zed, you kind of like catch Ogre's boot. This is with your like nat 20 on this. And you notice as you pull from underneath where she was about to step, you take this very, I'd say a bone about this big, very thick though. Looks like it could be like a femur bone or something.
I'm gonna hold it up in the air. I'm just gonna be dead set on looking at footprints. I'm just holding it up in the air, see who's gonna pick it up, which is
we are take from. Yep.
Cool.
Kind of let out a little whistle, like, what? And looking at the size of this thing, yeah.
Riara's looking at it. It looks, if it was a femur bone, it would be about humanoid size. So
Okay.
it's pretty big, and it also is perfectly clean.
Did the Merlin typically do is sacrifice a part of the? I feel like I remember.
Yep. No, it is.
This is definitely a place, or at least was a place of sacrifice. If that's showing what goes on here.
What?
There's some people there walking into a mouth that, to me, reads as sacrifice. It could be. I really don't have any other meaning for that. That just seems like they're feeding people to a big mouth.
Feeding some people to the right beast. I think Kay in her brain is just like, dragon. That's oh, okay. And you can hear that thought process come out of like, oh, that really be deemed? But Dementalis, that's
that we were talking about.
Yes,
Yoon, give me a investigation check. Actually, I'm sorry, Riara's, we'll say whoever has the highest, the other person give the advantage or whatever. Or you guys can roll separately on that. But Riara
I'll
would
give
also...
it to you, Yoon, for sure.
I got a 19 for a 21.
Nice. Awesome. We'll say, Riaris, you look at the markings here and you notice that even though they are stick figures and have this kind of like rudimentary sort of look, you're aware of like cave glyphs are not new to you. So I think, using some of your expertise based on the culture that you come from, with Yoon probably knowing this probably maybe from like a more book knowledge sort of thing, but also definitely staring at walls that have things carved in them as well. You surmise that this is old, but not hundreds of years old. I think, would you say 23?
21.
21. 21, you looking at this, you see that this couldn't have been more than 100 years old. These markings.
I feel like that seems...
I'll say more than 200 years old, because there's a...
Okay.
I want to give some space there for that.
Not Chase old, though,
Not Chase old, yeah. Definitely not.
Yeah. So they're not... they don't seem incredibly old. Maybe 100, 200 years old. But I don't know the history of the island enough to know who would have been here. But the Merlinlook have been around for... according to Chase, since whenever the predecessors and down, so there have been some, but yeah, I wonder if there's been any events on the islands since then.
Ogre's gonna get her little book and like get some charcoal, put the page up, and try to gently get the same image onto a piece of paper.
Image being the because it's this is truly massive. I would say it like kind of goes all around the wall. Is there a specific spot that you're looking for?
The part with the head and the people going in it.
Okay, cool. So just trying to get that sort of spot. Even there, like I think there's points where you have to even like kind of move the page around just to kind of.
I'll just rip out like a few pages and then just put them together. So there's like a
cool
spreadsheet.
Given what Yoon just said, while she's doing that, can I make a history check to see if I know who may have been around on the island 100 years ago?
Yes, absolutely. Give me a history check.
28.
28.
That's what I'm here for, is the mental stuff.
I'd like to give you a beginner's luck on that roll.
Guided.
That is not a
Guided.
beginner's roll.
I don't
Get
do
it to
none
that
of
30.
learning stuff.
I think with that 28, what you know, there's some things that like are just there's new knowledge that you guys have gotten, but one thing that you do know is that for the island of Chasavi, there has been there used to be more than the villages that are here, we'll say. I want to give you more of the 28, but you know that there was times when the population was probably a little bigger than it is now, and the reasoning why that has happened or why that is diminished is varying. It's surmised that most likely a lot of people just left, got on a boat and went anywhere else. So I think with a 28, there's enough examples here to recognize that whoever had been making these carvings at this time may not be technically Merlinloke, but believe in this story.
Okay. Back then, the islands were more populated, and many of them left. I don't know the Merlinloke existed, but they may have been like pre-Merlinloke. They knew the story. I don't know how that relates, though.
Well,
Did I regurgitate that correctly, Joe?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
According to Chase, there were the Merlunis, and then who turned into the Merlinloke. So they've been around at least for some amount of time, but it doesn't mean that every group that has tried to sacrifice is necessarily Merlinloke.
Well, Carr just said there used to be a bunch of people. What if these people walked into the scary mouth? And that's what this is saying, that this thing has eaten people before.
Riaris, didn't Talia say your people are in the belly of my god?
As Kaelinor says, that's
Yes.
perfect. As Kaelinor says that, Riaris, you recognize that as you try to, thinking about that, like trying to kind of like get access to Talia here. Roll me a religion check.
16.
Talia is not like above you like she normally is. She's running she's kind of like running an ethereal hand like along the wall here, and it's passing through. It's not even like moving the vines or anything, but you get the idea that like she sees through it.
Yeah, I think. Riaris came a little late because he kind of come to the bone, like, look what I saw, and then he's kind of like looking at this. And I think his first thought is coming here with spirits and thinking more in spirits and not thinking of people being sacrificed, but spirits going to the next place, and then seeing eventually Indian in that dragon, and then seeing Talia react as well, as kind of thinking about that as well. As they're talking about sacrifices, he's not thinking about live sacrifices.
You hear from her. This can't be true. No one of our kind would sacrifice themselves like this willingly.
Well, this is what I'm here to do. I think we're getting close, Talia, to something.
I was going to ask that above board. Is it that the carvings look like people are, as far as carvings go, voluntarily? Like there's no people like, there's no guards or anyone that seems like they're, so it's just like people.
That's a good question.
Slope,
You don't
right?
see any guards or anything, yeah.
Right, just like people lining up to go in there.
But there's a slope going down into the mouth, right?
Nope, it's just coming right across, and it ends where the mouth is, and then there's the passage to the right that does seem actually doesn't even seem to go down. I'd say like it probably goes down maybe like a total of 5 feet, but it's kind of shrouded right now. I will say, because you guys have been spending some time looking at this for a minute, Kaelinor, you notice something. I think right when Carr notices something. Kaelinor, you see the mouth here as you kind of like continue to kind of move the vines and stuff. You notice that the mouth here doesn't end. It seems like if you were to go further down the right path, you would see what you assume to be the rest of the head, and then so on and so forth. It doesn't seem like this carving is ended here. But as you notice that, it's possible that Card doesn't notice it. So I'll say, Card, give me a religion check. DC 5, though.
$25.
There it is.
God help a demon.
With a 25, you, as you're kind of like standing with people in this room, you notice there is a figure that appears just beyond on the left, sort of left hallway leading into something else. That same figure seems to continue to try to beckon you, but not the direction where this head is.
So that's the one I saw outside.
Yes, it looks like 25. Yes, it is.
Okay. The figure that was beckoning before seems to want me to go that way, and I point to the opposite hallway.
This might be, the cue for getting eaten. So maybe we don't go that way and we go the other way.
Well, she's pointing away from the throat, so that's a good sign. Possibly.
Oh. Zed, what did you see? You look like you saw something.
It's probably about that point where I see like the footprints.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, I'm on the ground. And I just slowly look up at Yoon, point at it, and I'm probably on my belly on the ground this time, and I'm pointing down the right way. Like, I just got the creepiest, sweatiest look on me. And it's just like creepy but serious. And you haven't seen him like this since he did his whole like eyes rolling back, talking in deep speech before.
All right, you've got a whole thing. If you need to talk, we're here.
I think you, because you're pointing at the footprint, right?
Yeah, I'm on my stomach. I'm pointing at the footprint, and I'm pointing.
I think you get the idea, Yoon. I think you get oh, this is where this guy came from, most likely.
Oh, so that's the footprints of him coming out, not some. Right. Okay.
Oh, they're leading up.
Okay,
And that's coming from the same direction that the spirit wants me to go, or the other one?
No.
Your spirit wants to go left. I'm pointing to the right, and
right.
I got a whiff of something undead down the right, but I'm pointing at footprints.
Oh, also, so maybe the Merlinok are somewhere down to the right, or at least a passage that would lead to them, and something else.
Just to be clear, left. Drew, I never said there was with undead to the right.
Okay.
No.
I ignored that anyway. But you did sense undead. Just that ability just senses it anywhere within a mile radius, right? It's not like directional when you used it.
Correct. It is not.
Yeah,
directional.
no,
that's why.
Just checking.
All right. Well, we were led here by the spirit. Car, what do you feel? Do you feel like we should follow the spirit? I mean, there is the sense of not going down the dragon god beast's throat, but also if we're here to find the Merlin Loke, you know,
I
it's not like
they
we can't do
usually
both.
talk to me. This one's not talking. I'm not sure what to do. I'd like to follow it, but I can't get a read on it.
Ask him if goblins are on either side, and just points to Fang on the backpack.
You know what? Why not? Where is it? Let me find it. Give me 1 second.
Speak with esoteric spirits.
Well, now I can already do that. But I can. Where is it? I have advantage on persuasion checks when dealing with undead or most otherworldly beings. So I would like to just look at it and like get its attention and see if I can persuade it. Like, can you tell me where the goblin tribe is? And see if I can see if I can convince it.
Cool.
And,
Guidance.
Cool.
And so, with my 2 rolls, wow, that was awful.
I saw that.
Yeah,
Welcome back.
That was terrible.
He is back.
Oh yeah. Adim's rolls are back. I will roll the guidance as I had it just in case.
Okay.
So to the 8, I added 2, so 10.
So 10. Okay. Okay.
I'm guessing she's not persuaded, but you know.
Don't tell me how to run my game. No. Oh, this is interesting. With a 10, so I rolled a kind of like idea of like what the response would be. With a 10, first off, this figure is like just like kind of like blipping in and out. Like seems to be there enough to be able to like show you where they want you to go and then disappears. Okay. So when you're talking to nothing. As far as like visually, but you do hear a voice, and the voice kind of echoes through the whole cavern.
Oh, okay. Just to me or to everybody?
To everybody.
Okay.
It's like a whisper, but like everybody hears it, and you hear like this kind of like weird sort of echo thing. But it sounds more like, and I'm saying more like because I don't want anybody to reference specifically words I'm saying right now. And you have no idea what that means.
Yeah, you're right.
There's only one person here that knows what that means.
I'm guessing it's Zed.
Zed, you hear the phrase that you hear is I think you hear it in the like sort of like rudimentary sort of like the deep speech itself also really doesn't necessarily like become a very like clear translation. So I think you just hear words on that. That's like kind of like separated. You hear follow. Collect. Knowledge. Time. I'm gonna say Zed, give me Give me I think a history check.
Where is it? 13.
13. Okay. So 13, you're not exactly sure, but the word time seems to be odd. We'll say, I'll ask you this. Where do you think Zed learned deep speech?
That's gonna be a wild one. It's gonna be either between going down into the depths of the ocean
Mhm.
and ended up finding through the crashes, like speech, like literature, speech stuff, like from other people that have been studying it.
Okay.
Maybe like books from a necromancer from a
I like
battle
that.
or something. And it would have been Jacques who would have been helping him translate it.
Cool. I like that. So yeah, I think in this moment you recognize that like you don't have any of those books to sort of reference, but you feel like you're missing something with the word time.
It was follow knowledge, time, and what else?
Collect. And it was follow, collect, knowledge, time.
And you said the word time was off.
Yeah, there's something there.
Okay. Can I do a history check, trying to like think of anything
That's what
that
you just
might?
did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And it was off. And do I hear from where this was coming from, or is it just echoing so much I can't tell where?
I think it was echoing so much you can't tell, but I'd say like you heard Carr talking in the direction that was to the left, because that was where the spirit was standing in front of when it was there and then disappeared.
All right. So after a pause of hearing that, I'm probably going to start freeze, think about it. I'm just going to stand up straight and I'm just going to grab Nav by the back of, like, what is it? By the back of the armor. And I'm just going to grab Riars by the front. And I'm just going to start pushing them towards the left.
Cool. Give me a strength check.
I do not want to contest because I think Riaris is ready to just go down left. He was getting ready to just be, this is where we're going.
Okay.
So I am not fighting.
Kay is very much like Zed.
I got a dirty 20.
Okay.
I'm
Cool.
not going to
Seemingly, I mean, you guys can feel free to contest if you want, but it seems like Zed is very. Zed is not saying anything, but Zed seems to be very curious about the left path and seems to be passionate, I think, in his movement of trying to drag you along.
And
And that's the spirit. What's with the spirit or without? I'm sorry.
With.
Thank you.
With.
I'm just trying to do puppy
the spirit.
control. So thank
I
you.
got
You're
you. I have that trouble, and I don't even have a puppy. So
And then when we get towards the opening of the, I guess the left side, I guess would be considered the opening, I'm just going to quietly whisper, show yourself in deep speech, and see if I hear anything back.
Give me a persuasion check.
Uh, 18.
Okay. Zed, roll me a wisdom saving throw, please.
Uh, 8.
Okay. Give me 1 second.
Man, how is Zed still alive after doing all this dumb stuff?
We all wonder.
I've been unconscious how many times?
Well, how many fights have
Oh,
we
yeah,
had?
I mean,
Yeah.
you definitely have brain damage. That's
Yeah.
100%. You can't just get knocked unconscious a bunch of times and then be fine.
Okay. Sent you a message.
All right.
So, are you still holding on to Kaelinor, by the way?
Not anymore.
Okay.
Thing is, we would have started walking down. Riaris would have kind of turned to the behind to like Ogra, Nalakar, and you would be like, "We're going left," and then just kind of turn back. Just to,
yeah, I mean,
yeah, I know,
think-
but I think I would have just been
Yeah.
like, "This is what we're now doing."
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean,
Yeah. Cool. I'm gonna say for like the rest of the so Riaris, you're kind of like being guided, I think, in front, and Kaelinor, you're being guided behind, sort of. So everybody except for Riaris, roll me a perception check, please.
Five. Or no, 7.
13.
7.
Oh boy.
13.
I got a 13 as well. I'm gonna get. What was that? Car who got a 13?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna give you a beginner's luck on that. So take another D4.
Okay.
And Joe, if you ever want to talk about like whether beginner's luck makes sense for certain types of roles, I'm okay with that too. It just says things, but it's it's all kind of wibbly wobbly.
So far, so good,
kind
man.
of- yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm good with it.
Make it a 14.
14.
Yes, sir.
Cool. All right. Cool. So I'll say, I don't know. Drew's still typing. Okay. No, absolutely not. No. Good Lord.
It's just like so.
Oh my
No.
god.
All right. All right. I will take over from here. Thank you. So I will.
Something like that.
Not even close, man. Not even close.
Okay,
Not
take
even
the
close.
opposite of what I said.
This is
Perfect.
this if this is how you see what is happening, I'm gonna take over. So what you see from Zed with a 13, but what I'll do is I'll give Car the or with a 14. Car, you notice that Zed Zed's been kind of like hunched over in this, right? He's been like low to the ground, like laying down on the mud and things like that. And even like as he's like trying to guide these figures and just acting all sorts of weird, you notice that he all of a sudden seems to stand straight up and looks to be a little bit more almost regal in his body language.
Okay, that's like
Have I seen possession?
Not even
before?
close, man, what you said. You want me to say what you said? I'm going to tell everybody what you said. The shaking stops. I start shake. Then I start hold myself.
Oh, I forgot
in
to
a-
delete.
Yeah. Then I start hold myself in an effeminate way, hand up, other holding the elbow,
I
In
And
an
some-
effeminate way?
and some hip shake.
yeah,
Like
you know.
full on doing like a Beyonce sort of dance. is
Yeah,
what I'm
There we
doing.
go.
Yeah.
Doing
Not
the
even
singles,
close.
ladies?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not even close.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
good time.
Beetlejuice.
Just vibing,
So my question is twofold. One, have I ever seen possession before? And has Car ever seen Zed look like he's acting right now? I know Zed's been a chaotic creature, but
yes and no.
Okay.
In order.
Okay, so Car will, when he stands regal, does he turn around because I'm behind him?
He does not actually. He seems to before he was guiding Riaris and Kaelinor forward, and Riaris, you're still kind of like in front, and there's a moment where Kaelinor, you're not being guided anymore, but Zed is walking forward behind Riaris. I'd say Riaris, I think there's a possibility that you think like Zed is like, okay, you've gotten the message, great, so I'm just going to stand behind you. But I'll ask this. Riaris, give me a perception check.
16.
16. Zed is obnoxiously close behind you. So if you think you stop.
Yeah, I think I kind of like look over my shoulder. Zed, why are you so close?
This close to you.
Oh, what the?
Kind
of like back up, create a little bit of space if possible. You know.
Car raises his voice a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit, because I don't want to echoing too much of the chamber. And he's trying to only speak to Zed, but speak on a spiritual level. And he just says, "Who am I speaking with?"
That's a good question. Let me check my notes.
Given that we heard that voice and we've heard Zed do some speaking, can we identify that those are the same sounds? Like not the exact same sounds, but like the language is that's obviously related. Yeah.
Okay. And I want to say above board too, I'm taking a little bit of liberties here. Deep speech in terms of like Forgotten Realms thing is has like a specific, it's otherworldly, like space, not space, but like aboleth, like sort of like design.
Right, it's clearly that kind of like you can't pronounce it with the human tongue, kind of
Right. This is taking some liberties there as the idea of like this is representing a dark, ominous sort of language, but doesn't necessarily co-align with as you said, Evan, like Cthulhu-esque.
I did like the idea that it was just like the words themselves, not necessarily like as far as like that makes some sense. So
right. Jack, I know you're dealing with a bunch of stuff here, but you hear a response from Zed. It's Zed is opening his mouth, but the sound that you hear is deep but effeminate. As you hear the name Sabalwe. Jack, did you hear me in that?
Sorry, I didn't realize I wasn't muted. I didn't realize I came back. I hear you. I turn my volume up. So I'm sorry. So what Car says is, "Nice to meet you, Zabalwe. My name is Car Ashwing. Do you understand my language?"
That's a fairly good point. You don't see a response. You do see that. I think that like Zed had turned to face you and said this, and then sees that you said something, and then turns back and is still face to face with Riaris. Like Riaris, you take a step back. Zed takes a step forward.
So then what Car would like? Car casts. Hopefully this will work. I'm not sure if you'll let me do this, but my idea is I would like to call borrow knowledge.
Okay.
And see if I can pull upon somebody who knew deep speech.
Interesting.
Basically draw knowledge from spirits of the past, choose one skill, which I lack proficiency. I'm not sure if you would count language as a skill.
I love it. I love it. That's fucking sick. I love that so much. Great.
And then for the spell's duration, which is an hour, I now have proficiency in the chosen skill. So I basically just look to this. I look to what's above me and say, "I need help."
Cool. We'll say for the simplification of like clearing that out, because I think it's like it's not necessarily a skill. It's something along the lines of like and this is like D&D mechanics. The D&D mechanic of this would be that you gain this language for an amount of time that's whatever's listed. An hour. Great. So you gain this language and you don't have any like sort of like updates on a skill. It's just that.
Yeah. So I just for now I won't have the language if you grant it, and for an hour maybe she'd understand me.
Yeah. Do you think? I want you to take the DM reins a little bit on this one. Do you think that you envelop a person, like a personality starts to speak through you that is another sort of entity, or is it a mediator that appears in front of you? And if so, what do they look like?
Given the way Car's powers usually work, he's not usually possessed. I would say the spirit probably comes. I would say actually what happens is there's a spirit that appears before me, and I speak so the party can hear me in its ear, and the spirit then repeats it in deep speech.
Cool, you got it. Does this spirit seem to take on a shape or no?
Oh yeah, it's an Aarakocra spirit. I only know one non-Aarakocra spirit, and I don't think that one knows deep speech. So, I don't think the goblin knew deep speech. So.
Probably doesn't. But that'd be a good plot twist. You're like, wait a second.
Cool. So I think, unless you want to describe exactly what this Aarakocra sort of spirit looks like.
I would say it's another Ashwing, most likely, because it's probably an older Ashwing. There, I know that through stories I have access to, and probably was one of the earlier settlers who may have known deep speech for whatever reason Zed did, but I don't know why. So it's not going to give me any insight into why Zed speaks it. But whatever reason that was, it's probably from the past. And I'm going to guess that they were probably teachers, so they probably died when they were elders. So as much as I look old, this one looks old.
Yeah.
But they're translucent. They probably only if you really stare below the waist can you see their feet, because they're black and translucent but old, so they're vaguely there. Cool. Like you can see that there's one in front of me that I'm whispering to it. Not whispering, I'm speaking in its ear, and then it's translating the speech even louder. And it's an Eric Cochran voice, but it's not my voice that's speaking after I ask it the questions.
Sweet. I like that. So I think as you...
I will add, just anybody who wants the lore, they are also wearing a bone necklace almost identical to mine. Not identical, but almost identical to mine.
Cool.
Perfect.
I like a lore. Yeah.
I think, if I may, as we were building into this, I think the other thing is, as you see this vision that I think you all see in this moment, there's thing where like everything just becomes now clear and apparent in this cave. You're not sure if it's the mountain itself that's allowing you to be able to see these things or whatnot, but you see this figure of a crouched, like skinny, the shoulders seem to be jutting out almost as if they're like protruding from like they were no longer skin anymore, but just bone coming out. As you see that, like kind of like these shoulders are sticking up, and you notice that on its back there are no wings necessarily, but just pieces of like dangling thin bones that are like resting on its back, as in the idea of like its wings that it once had, as it's leaning over with the staff, as you and we'll say visually that's all we kind of need to get from that, and is working as the mediator back and forth.
And so the first thing I say to it is, because it's Car, is I think, thank you for your help. And then I say, then I'll repeat myself, say, my name is Car. It's nice to, and say the name for me again, because I know I just heard it, but it took a long time.
Sabalwe. I'll put it in thing.
So I say, it's nice to meet you, Sabalwe. Now again, I whispered it. I talk in its ear. It's nice to meet you, Sabalwe. My name is Car Ashley. And now that I'm getting this translation, is there any more kind of
Yeah, this is tricky. Give me, I'm gonna say, give me a persuasion check. But there's a lot of work going into this too, and you're using deep speech, so you have advantage.
Okay. I know there's no such thing as double advantage, but I already had advantage, just so you know. But I rolled a 9. I'm sorry, 13 was the higher of the two.
13. Okay, great. Yeah, with a 13, you see it seems to first off, the spirit like kind of like nut like kind of like does a little bow to you, which makes its beak like almost kind of touch through the ground with how low it's already sitting. Goes and says something in that same seeming language. You see the figure turns back, looks at you, pauses for a second, and then goes right back to what they were doing before. Riaris, it clearly seems like you're in its way.
Okay, well, it understands me, and I'm not speaking this in the spirit's ear. Well, I don't say it understands me. It understands us now, or when I speak for it. But it wants to go that way. It seems. I don't know much more than that. I don't like the fact that it's in Zed. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Whereas when you move, does he follow you?
It is coming down at me, and I'm gonna kind of shuffle as I'm kind of holding whatever to get out of the way a little bit.
As soon as you do that, continues to walk forward. Not running, but just moving with purpose.
I wonder if this is what like Zed was talking about with autopilot, right? Just goes by itself. Is this what's happening?
Is your earring glowing at all? Anything going on there?
Is the possessed Zed looking like in Riar's eyes or like right behind him?
Nowhere now. The possessed Zed is walking past Riaris up the left-hand side from where you guys are at.
Right, he was acting like an NPC in a game when he's blocked. It just sort of stands at you until you move out of the way and then keeps going. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Well,
I guess we should follow that.
Yeah, we should keep up.
Oh, I'm following
maybe
that, yeah,
just in case, so we can stop. Maybe if this is I don't know what's happening, but if he's on autopilot and there's a hole, we should be able to stop him, perhaps. So let's kind of go with him.
My puppy's down to his toy. I apologize.
It's the weirdest deep speech I've ever heard.
It is certainly there, yeah.
I couldn't tell if it was a squeaky toy or the dog.
Yes. Kay, can you just help me? I'm going to try to lightly grab something on Zed, and I don't want to be tugging and holding him, but just kind of have some sort of grip in case he books it or something like that to be able to react. But I don't want to be influencing where they're going.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
Like a little leash rope kind of thing?
Yeah, lightly put a harness on him.
While I have his toy, I also try and translate. Can you tell us where you're leading us?
No response.
I tried. Carl will just follow and watch carefully.
Got it. As you all continue up the left-hand side, leaving this cavern from where it is, you see the whole party seem to ascend, but the camera stays in that cavern as we see the bulbs slowly close back up. And with that, we're going to take our 10-minute break. We'll see you guys in 10. We are back. As you all are continuing now following a possessed Zed through the caverns, you start to move in a downward direction, and you notice that things start to the walls themselves seem to get a little bit closer and form fit together. So this is the point where your marching order would go into effect. I'd say the only difference here is that Zed is in front. Riaris, if you would like to change your position, you could as well. But this
I
is,
think I might go up to second. Have Kay go third.
Cool.
That's cool with you, Kay?
Absolutely.
All right. As you guys are having to move together, I would like a. I don't think it's a perception check because you definitely see this. I would like you all to. I'll tell you what you see, and you guys can tell me what you want to roll. But I'd like a kind of a difference in things here based on what you guys are good at, maybe. You start to notice there are other glyphs along the walls, but they're different. They're a little bit more elaborate, not as heavy-handed marked in, and you notice that they seem to have taken some time. We'll say the first depiction that you guys see is a depiction of what looks to be a woman. You can see in large robes. You can see her hair is kind of like moving off to the sides and out. She seems to be smiling and seems to be wearing some sort of not necessarily a diadem, but I would say it's some sort of like crown on her head. It's like a kind of a very welcoming sort of look. There's going to be more of these as you guys go along. So we'll say feel free to tell me what you want to roll. And then we'll say, I'll probably say go ahead and roll it. Still waiting on Evan coming back, but it's all right. Let's start with Riars. Okay.
Nice. I think I'll keep with what I've been doing, which has been religion check, I believe. So I think that kind of makes sense to keep going with that.
You got it. Go ahead and roll for that. Yoon, what do you think you're rolling?
So by here, I mean I just got here.
Gotcha.
What are we rolling for? Yeah.
This is you're seeing glyphs along the walls as everybody is now having to be scooted into this 5-foot sort of corridor. These glyphs do look a little different. I would say like basically as a roll to see what you're trying to glean from them. So, and I mentioned this to everybody as saying like giving your skill sets in particular.
They're not hidden in any way?
No, not at all.
Okay.
We'll come back to you actually because I just gave you that info. So
yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I got well, you want my? Okay, sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, go ahead. You can tell me now.
Well, I got a 7, so I don't probably see much.
Okay, gotcha. What does Ogra want to roll on looking at these glyphs?
Ogre isn't really that great with interpreting things, but she knows maybe other people might, maybe not in this group. So she's going to do the same thing. If I can do like a sleight of hand to just get as much of these, like God, what's that thing where you just put the paper on and use the charcoal to capture the whole thing? And she's just ripping pages out of her book and trying to get as much of it as she can.
Just like rubbings or something like that.
Yeah, and like a sleight of hand check to see if I get it all.
Yeah, I like that. You can go ahead and roll that. We'll move over to Car.
Uh, 23.
So say you guys can kind of like roll them as we go on, but we're trying to kind of get an idea of what everybody's getting. I'll check the results here in a minute.
I mean, given what I know so far, I maybe history.
Cool.
So
Yeah,
I'll roll that. Okay, I'll take it. 26. So.
Yeah, I would take that too.
Sure. Yay.
Cool. And Kaelinor.
I think she's trying to remember or recall anything she's read in the Aqua Codex or stories her mother would have told her about like this figure, and specifically thinking about the language change from male to female. So I think, I don't know, maybe history or religion to do that.
Your choice. Either makes sense to me.
Okay, I will do religion then. It's a 14.
14. Okay. And you.
Yoon tries to pull from a place that seems that has been somewhat hidden, and that there's confusing memories, and I think he's trying to pull from that, trying to get an idea of just like there's this constant sense that something is always on the tip of his tongue, always, he can't remember the word, and it's frustrating, but he's going to try to specifically pull from that, I think, with maybe Arcana.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
Okay. That's a 20. Proletariat 20.
Cool.
Dirty 20.
Incredible. Cool. With a 20, we're going to start with you as far as like results go too. So with a 20, you try to pull from a different space than what everybody else is doing, an idea of like a connection that you have with this being that is both you and not you. And you get a sense of familiarity with the depiction of this woman. You weren't here for this, but you see the markings of like flowing hair, very beautiful sort of face. These carvings seem to have been done in more care, seem to be more intricate. And you notice from that is that there's an inkling of a feeling that you're a familiarity with that face. You can't quite put your finger on it. Great. Riaris, go ahead and just tell me again what you were looking for and what you rolled on that.
Yeah, I think I was just kind of doing a continued religion check based on kind of seeing the initial gravity. If there's anything I recognized in the figure or anything about that or any sort of procession or something. But I only got a 7. So
cool.
Yeah.
I think you feel with Talia being now near you a sense of I think a quiet disappointment isn't the right word. But I think one of the things that's kind of like making it difficult for you here is that you get the idea that Talia feels like you went down the wrong path to what she wanted. But she doesn't say anything. Okra. This one's very simple. Just gotta go ahead and doing what you got in that study. Yeah.
23.
23, cool. Yeah, with the 23, you're able to kind of get depictions of all of these, more or less. We'll say like there's like you're not able to get it as intricate as what the carvings are because you're having to go so fast, right? Having to keep up with the group and all that. And actually, hold on one second. Are you in the back?
Yeah.
You are in the back. So actually, technically, you could spend as much time as you want and try to catch up with the group. So I'm going to ask you this: if you would like to be, if you would like to be 30 feet behind, I'm going to say you get all of this, no problem, as clear as what the markings are on that. But you would end up 30 feet behind.
I can do that. I can still see them.
Cool, you got it. I like that.
Was the woman's face, is that part of like the relief for the the carving in the wall, or is that like a separate kind of statue type thing, or is it that's like part of the just that there's symbols and then there was like a woman, right? Like
no, that's all. So the symbols is the woman. So what you're seeing along the wall is this rather large depiction. I would say like from like it would be a waist up size for Yoon.
I see.
As a full depiction of this woman, like a full body, sort of almost like a portrait. It gives kind of like almost like a stained glass window sort of feel, if that makes sense.
But,
like
so it's made
of
these like different. Okay.
It's carved into the wall.
Right, but I thought you said like runes and then also the carving. So the runes of the carving of the woman, two different things, or the same thing?
I don't remember saying runes. I mean, I said glyphs as the idea of like
maybe glyphs,
a word of replacing what the carving.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I think I get the idea you're going for. Okay, cool. And she's getting that kind of whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Is Zed getting any of this, or is he just not there?
I think Zed. So the rules on possession really is Zed. You're perceiving all of this, but you're not able to. You're not really able to do anything really necessarily mentally or physically in this moment. So
I'm just like subconsciously absorbing it.
Yeah, you're absorbing. You're here. You're able.
Okay.
You're behind the eyes. We'll say, kind of like in a way. But you're also only getting bits and pieces. It looks like Sabalwe physically controlling your body. They're not looking at the walls. So I'll mention that they're not looking at the walls as if they already know what they are. Cool. Car.
I used history and had a 28. And my goal in using history, just seeing who may have written this, how old is it the same era as before? Like just kind of trying to glean more information from the combination of we have a possessed party member, a spirit who speaks deep speech, and even if my spirit guide right now, I'll refer him or her. It's a him. Why not? I'll refer him to it as well, saying, "Is this deep speech?" Like it's just kind of like what is this? So that's
cool.
where I was. That's where I was going with my role.
Yeah, you don't see any language on the marks at all, but looking at looking at the depiction of this woman, specifically, we'll say like like DC 20 would tell you that you are not familiar with, like, sorry, it's not common knowledge, DC 20, who this figure is. Looks real. You see like a crown, essentially. It looks a little different. I truly, like, I'm trying to think in my head of how it looks kind of like a cross between a crown and a bonnet, sort of, like, where it's kind of like has it extended out and it seems to have like this sort of like covering to it. But the extensions kind of coming up have these like what look to be like features holding it up that has that kind of crown-esque sort of look. So it's like if there was like a crown and then a cloth covering over the top of it, if that makes sense.
It does. It does.
Like a cloth connecting the points of it. Cool. But so DC 20, you got a 28. With a 28, you don't remember any sort of versions of historical references to any like queen or anything like that. So you get the feeling that this is not necessarily a queen in the like most specific sense of the phrase, I guess. Not someone of royalty per se. But looking at the markings, one of the questions you asked was, does this look to be the same age? Absolutely not. This looks to be much older. I'll say with that 28, it's about, you'd venture a guess that it's somewhere between 800 to 1,000 years old.
Okay, I verbalize that to the party as we continue to follow the possessed Zed, so they all have the same information I do.
Cool. You got it.
And then I will, in deep speech... Oh, sorry, you said and. Go ahead.
I was just going to say and, because the 28's damn good, dude.
A Dean will never know the success.
Looking at the... looking at the markings on her head, right? That crown sort of thing, which I think, like, at like first glance, and I think like a lot of the people in the party think that that's a crown because that's what that looks like. You look at it as something that reminds you of something that you've seen. I think on like humanoid history books in general, that is more related to the idea of someone who would be like a priest. Or a priestess in this case.
Okay. I will also verbalize that, like, oh, maybe a priestess. And then I will... Does the female image seem to match at all the spirit I was seeing?
Good question. No.
Okay.
Only because you rolled a 28.
Okay. So I'll whisper... Well, not whisper, but I'll speak to my translator. And I'll say... And for its translator, I'm like, did your people draw this? To her. And to see if she responds.
Okay.
I'm basically going to keep on trying to have a conversation with her until she responds with something.
I think you rolled a 13 before?
Yes.
On your persuasion? Okay, yeah. Cool. 13, no response yet.
Okay. I'm not going to be rude and be like, I can't believe you. But
yeah.
Just she's not responding. Okay, moving on. So.
Yeah. Cool. Kaelner.
14 on religion, and was looking at basically, is there anything in the Aqua Codex or anything my mother would have told me, any kind of Melanoke link or history from anything.
Cool. With a 14, with a 14, you looking at this depiction of this woman, you're not really aware of any. I think, like, if Kara is in this moment relaying to the group that it looks like some sort of priestess, Kaelinor, this does not look like a priestess from any religion that you, from your religion, from the religion that you followed. You're fairly certain this is not Merlin look.
I also relate that to the party of, I think it's not Merlin Loke, but again, wasn't ever the scholarly type, so.
And then just to see if I get a rise out of the spirit,
Sure.
when she says that, I will whisper to my guide, so it goes to a deep speech. I wonder if there's any connection with her to the Merlin Loke, though. And then to see if there's any kind of like a.
I'll do something fun here and tell you definitely not. Actually,
Okay, fair. Okay.
Definitely no. Definitely no reaction to that.
Okay.
What is Nala's and Fang interaction with all this going on?
It's a good question. I'm gonna roll a history check for Nala. It's a dirty 20. Nala looks at the markings here and looking at the version of the this like priestess sort of cap here. Well, this doesn't really make any sense. Who determined how old the
Car.
Okay. Car, you relayed that information, right?
100%.
That doesn't. I'm gonna have some fun with you guys here. I'm just gonna say analysis. That doesn't make any sense because it's an NPC. And...
Which part?
You see her look at you, just kind of like shake her head. No, I must be mistaken.
Wait, let's share.
We'll say as she's actually, I think she looks at you to go like open her mouth. You're continuing forward. You see that there are other images. So we'll carry on the idea of like kind of like following the same sort of logic as you guys are moving through this. So we'll say carrying the same roles. If there's something different that you want to determine that would require a different role, let me know. But that's kind of where we're at. So the next sort of image is you see figures that are not necessarily like stick figures, but are definitely clearly not as important. Marking, you see figures that look to be, I'd say you see like markings of genitalia on them that tells you that they look to be very like primal, tribal. Some of them seem to be covered, some of them seem to be not. And you see that she is you see that there is a depiction of a group of people that I was mentioning before, that I was just mentioning, that seem to be standing as she is sitting. You don't see any markings of like depicting a throne, but she is sitting in a space of what looks to be above them, and you see just a hand sort of extended out and upwards, and you see about, looking at the depiction, about 6 inches away from the hand is a mark of the sun. You see just a circle and just various sort of like squiggly sort of images of showcasing a sun. The next image is this one's on your left hand side. On your right hand side, there's the exact same thing marked, but you see her hand is extended lower, and you see there is a circle that is fully concave in, giving you the idea of possibly looking at the moon. It is lower, but still like 6 inches above her hand. Her hand is lower.
Just to ask, because I know we joked about it in New Moon.
I'm hearing someone in your background, Jack, so I'm going to have to turn you down really low.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
It's my son speaking to his family. We've joked about it in New Moon, but how many moons are there in your world? Is it just one?
There are only one. There's only one.
Okay, thank you. Okay, just so I know.
All good. So yeah, we'll say anything specifically you guys are determining using the same rolls or new rolls, anything like that. Or we can move on to either one.
One question: Do we know the timeline as far as like the split, the Merlunis, like, or is it just sort of like long ago this happened and then these people and then now, and we don't have like a time for any of those or anything like that?
Right now, it's just long ago.
Okay. Yeah.
I think in the book that was found was a time ago, essentially.
Cool.
As we're sorry, go ahead, dude.
Just one the caves that we're in, do they seem natural caves that were carved or things, or is this like carved out of stone, like the whole passageway is like carved out?
The first chamber that you're in definitely looked like a natural cave, but great question. As you're going further in, you notice that the stone itself seems to have smoothed out a little bit.
Okay.
And it's definitely very smooth in the spots where these carvings are.
Okay.
I'm gonna press a little bit on Nala. Like, so what does it make sense exactly? I mean, as I'm noticing the sun, the moon, realizing we do have one moon.
Nala, I think Nala says, I don't want to say something and be wrong. It's just there's something that didn't add up with the depiction back there, if it's as old as it is.
Maybe it's not wrong. We are uncovering mysteries. All ideas are good. What did you notice?
The priestess headdress that you saw.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a huge understanding of religion, but the priestess headdress that you saw is the only sort of extensions of them that we've seen is from 200 to 300 years ago. I guess they could be older, but they look exactly the same.
Where did you see them 200-300 years ago? With who?
I don't remember. Not Merlin Loke, I know that.
All right. Well, that's good knowledge. Thank you.
I don't know who either, so I'm gonna let it go. I mean, I'll just put it in my slot. Be like, okay, that's something.
Right. Anything else before we move on?
Did the headdress have any specific number of like points or anything? Was there anything like that seemed symbolic about that symbol in general, as far as like the description of it, or if it's more generic?
Because you're asking that question directly, I'll say no. It doesn't look like there's any sort of symbology to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure
I will
it
say,
has, but like.
Yeah, I think you see that it has like it had many. And I will say, like, symbology sort of wise, it seemed like it was definitely more than like necessary to keep the headdress there. So you get the idea there might be some sort of symbology that is representing either the sun or the moon in that regard, of the idea of like the waves coming off of it.
Cool.
Could I look at the one symbol with the two people holding the sun and the moon? Does that look like the same kind of sun and moon from the tower?
It does look like the same markings.
I relay that to the group that it's very similar or exact or the same.
Cool.
Also similar to the relic. Does the relic we have like a sun or a moon on it? Is that what Carvis kind of called it? The Lunaris Solaris kind of like has those symbols on it. Are they the same symbols as well?
Trying to think of how the mechanism was shaped, but I would say yes, essentially. It's more complicated, so it would be like, and also it's a 3D object against a 2-dimensional object. Right. So in some ways, there's a similarity, I'll say.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Moving on to the next glyph. The next glyph that you see depicts this figure standing atop a tower that is in the process of being built. So it's almost like she's like kind of like floating in the air, but like you can see that there's like one side that's being built over the other, but it looks like it is a tower that is being built. I think like following right along, because Ogre, you nailed it with that question. It looks very similar to the tower that you saw, that you were in. Granted, ironically, it looks the same because it's in the process of being built and you've seen it in the process of falling apart. So weirdly, it's like kind of almost in the same stage. But yeah. You see that on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, you see figures that have, figures of these same sort of depictions of these tribal-looking figures. I'd say you see like 5 of them together, and one of them is pointing at a figure that looks that is a smaller version of exactly what you saw on the first carving of this female figure. Let me know if there's anything I didn't explain well on that. Or anything you guys want to determine with that.
So you said a smaller figure than the big female priestess figure? Am I getting that correctly? Or
I don't know what you said. It's really hard to hear you right now.
Okay, I was leaning back. That's my bad. My thinking state. Was it a? You said there's a smaller figure that is like a smaller representation of the larger priestess figure, but in the same mosaic.
The same sort of mosaic, yeah. And it seems like the figures that were grouped around. One of them seems to be pointing at that figure.
Okay. Would it be? I mean, I don't. With investigation, I'm trying to determine if it's like a child or if the larger figure is a god that is pointing to their followers. Can I tell the difference between that?
So the figures are the tribal people, and one of the tribal people is pointing towards
the smaller figure.
That smaller figure. The smaller figure being a smaller just depiction of what seems to be that same woman.
Right. That's why I'm wondering if it's like, I don't know, to me it's either child or god, but you said the tribal figure, so is it like a descendant, or is there any other iconography that would suggest some relationship between the two besides the pointing and the size difference?
I'm trying to think, because I think I'm probably not explaining it correctly. So it looks like you see a group of this tribe together, like 5 of them.
Okay.
And they seem to be like the way that they're positioned. It almost looks like they're talking about.
Oh, got it. Okay,
her.
so they're having a conversation about that person. Got
Yeah.
it. So not go there, but look at her. We're talking.
Right.
You're smack talking her. Okay.
Just need to put the little speech bubble in there.
Right. Okay. That makes more sense. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions or gleanings?
Did Chase? I don't think Chase ever told us, because he mentioned the towers were built by the Nilan, but they never got direction of like who told them to build it.
Correct.
Okay. I do say that out loud, and I do kind of.
Is there any depiction difference between sun and moon between these two figures?
The only difference that you notice is hand is up and hand is down.
Okay, so not on this part of it, just earlier. Or in this one, because she's the larger figure is pointing to the other one. I mean, you said hand up, hand down, but that seemed like a previous.
That's what I thought you were talking about.
No, so in this one, this new one where there's the 5 figure they're pointing, is there any sun and moon iconography here?
No, there is not.
Question. Since
Yes.
Ogra is doing those rubs and on the wall, is there any like writing coming up that's too fine that we can't see with our eyes, but it's coming through the paper?
I like that question. No, doesn't look like there's anything like that. It seems like, and I'll say because it's such a specific question, I really like that. So I want to give you the idea of, it looks like what whoever had made this symbology most likely didn't seem to like. There's a possibility that these figures didn't have a written language.
Mm-hmm.
That this is their written language, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Does this seem like it's trying to tell a narrative? Like, can I? Yeah, that's I guess I'm trying to glean is like, is there a sense that this is trying to tell, like a timeline there, like this happened and then this, or are these more just like, okay, these are all symbols of the same priestess. Here's them in this position, here's them in this position. Yeah, that kind of thing. Like
roll me. What was your Arcana check?
20.
20. I'm gonna hold that in looking at the last 2 glyphs.
Okay. Yeah, fair.
You said there were 5 figures. This is going to sound really stupid, but I'm going to ask anyway. How many islands are there? Like, my brain is thinking maybe one person represents one island, but that feels dumb, so...
Like major islands, not the little tiny.
Yeah, like major islands, like Charsavi,
Right.
Beladife.
There are
What's fun?
5.
Okay. I'm thinking maybe island spirits, but... Meh.
The last 2 glyphs, I'm gonna ask, just for fun and the idea of the narrative. As you guys are walking along, you guys are kind of walking in a marching sort of order, but you're also following someone who is not stopping to look at any of them. So I'm going to ask you guys, raise your hand if you're looking at the left. And for those that are not raising their hand, I'm going to assume you guys are looking at the right. Cool. All right. So for those looking at the left, you see a depiction of the same sort of like set of tribal figures, all seeming to hold hands around around what looks to be a finished version of this tower. The figure up above is gleaming with a bright light, and you notice I'll say, because you guys have been like nailing some of these, and I'm going to tell you straight up, for those that are looking on the left, you notice that the lines that are kind of like marked around her are the same sort of like wavy lines that would represent a sun, as it looks like she is almost like she's floating above, as if she's almost like ascending here. You see the tower itself sits about maybe like a half an inch below her feet, and you see that there are figures of these tribal folks, kind of like holding hands in hand around this tower. For those on the right, they see tribal figures hand in hand around a vision of what looks to be carved out flames, and that same figure looking to be tied to a post at the very top. Yoon. In a very weird moment, you feel looking at the because you looked at the left, right?
That's right.
In a very weird way, the familiarity that you had before looking at the face of this being, the part of you that felt like this being looked familiar does not seem to have any familiarity with this scene. And so just to tell you guys straight up, this is the last one, so feel free to ask anything.
I'm gonna ask Nala, you mentioned that you felt something was off with the previous one. Do you feel something off with this one?
You look back and you see that Nala is Nala with her long beak is looking to the this is mirrored, is looking to the right and looks towards you. No, I don't know who this is. Yuna, give you the choice on whether or not you follow her gaze.
Yeah, I mean, if the one I'm looking at is somehow unfamiliar, I think immediately I would have turned around, even without her, to like look at the other side to be like, what's that one then?
Yeah, what is that? Yeah. You turn to the other side, and that same sort of part of you that does feel that like that felt that familiar before now seems to continue. This looks right. The other doesn't.
Yeah, I can't explain exactly why. But when I look at the one behind me,
oh, I think you're muted. Or am I just not hearing you? Oh, I can't hear any of you guys. That's weird.
Can you hear
I
me?
was muted. I could not hear you, and he just cut out.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And then I realized I was muted as I was.
Yeah, that was funny. It's like, oh, I'm hearing the music. What is happening? Still not hearing you at all.
Still not hearing. Yeah, you're still
That's
not
super
there.
weird.
No.
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 Still can't.
Give him a second. Evan, keep checking. We'll let you know when we hear you. I'll.
So.
Go ahead, Ogre.
The person who's flying above the tower, the finished tower, and is like directly below the sun, is the same person on the pyre, right?
I didn't say below the sun.
What was you meant by that then?
You see that there are lines that seem to be around her.
Okay.
Nope. You look like you're muted in EVMux right now, though. Whatever you said, I'm sure I have full belief it was funny, but I can't hear it.
But is that person the same as the one on the pyre?
Yes, it is.
Is she chained to it?
She seems to be tied to the pyre, yes.
The same kind of...
There's currently a lot of dead air, so is there any questions or you want to move on?
I was just waiting for Yoon. I didn't know we were
Yeah, I know. I was just kind of looking at him. Sorry.
Yeah, don't wait for him.
Okay.
Yep.
And in that case, I need to reconsider. When she's being burned, it looks like she's on a stake or something. You said, did I create the burning?
Yeah, essentially.
Okay.
Yep.
Is there still the same images of the sun around her, the waves, while she's on that stake, or have they changed?
No, you do not see any markings of a sun or a moon in that depiction.
Are there any other images of her tribal folk around her while she is being burned?
Yes, it's exactly the same image in that way. Yes,
sorry.
it's exactly the same. So basically, like you see on the left-hand side, there's figures that seem to be holding hands while she's floating above a tower. You see the same figures holding hands as she's being burned at the stake.
Wait a minute. Okay. I don't know if I'm using my history check because I got the 28 and this seems historical. Is this similar to what Sylvia was doing to us? Is this alternate timelines? Does that click? Like, as I'm looking at it, does it seem like it's the same time and these are alternate things? Like, this could have happened, but this did, or this happened and we cut it and it actually went here next time?
Certainly possible.
And I say that out loud to see what Nala's reaction is.
Nala, I think Nala at that pushes past Ogra and goes back to that first depiction, to that first thing. And she's standing in front of it. If that's true, there are two different timelines here.
Maybe.
Is it possible that this figure's not from the time that this was made?
Given what we've been through, that sounds possible.
As you guys are contemplating that, you see like Zed is now 20 feet forward.
Okay.
There you go.
Might be
Welcome
heard-
back.
Yay.
can be heard now.
Yay.
Yeah. Well, I convey at the very least, essentially that like. So when we talk about the first one, I felt a familiar feeling, and then there was like a middle. Is it the whole kind of wall that I kind of like one side that I feel familiar with, and the other one not at all? Okay.
Correct.
So then, all right, this is going to be confusing, and there's lots of other confusing things, but I know this one, and I'm kind of gesturing to the right. There's something about this one that seems right or familiar, and that one does not. I suppose you could call this I guess it would be kind of the sun side and moon side, wouldn't it? Because the sun side
One of them
is
has two different depictions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does Fang, does any of this ring a bell to him through there being tribal or any stories that he was told younger?
No, I appreciate the hustle, but no. This is way past Fang's level of understanding.
Yeah, he's just chilling in the
Basic.
backpack eating.
Yeah.
When Ogra's at the top of the tower, did the stone at the bottom where if the could see, was it intact or was there scorch marks around it? Especially since she saw chains there up at the top.
I don't think you notice any sort of scorch marks. Granted, if it was thousands of years ago,
Yeah.
hard chance there would be.
But there were chains
hundreds
up
of years,
at the
yeah.
top that she saw.
You did see chains. Now, remember, like I said, she was tied to the stake. I never said that she was chained to it.
Okay.
So.
Mm.
So, moving forward, you see the hallway itself seems to open back up. The corridor kind of opens back up into this large chamber. You see there is what looks to be like a crack, almost like seemingly from an earthquake or something like that. There seems to be this I don't want to say crevasse again. There's a
Crevice.
There's a crevice. There we go.
Mountain
what am I
dash
trying to
crack.
say? What am I trying to say? There's a name for this.
The
Mountain
gap.
dash
ADHD
crack.
medications wearing off.
Is it in the
There's
wall
a-
or in the floor?
On the floor.
On the floor?
So you guys get what I'm trying to say. It looks like there's a massive hole in the floor that goes from left to right, from wall to wall, that you do not see. You see just darkness. You do not see a bottom. Zed, as Zed's bodies continue to move forward, I would say, honestly, in this, because you guys are kind of stopping, you're looking at the Zed's about 20 feet forward, so it's enough sort of point that as you see Zed kind of taking a step forward towards that area here, I think there's a moment where everybody kind of yells and reaches out, and you see Zed floats right over.
Like a sinkhole. Okay.
To the other side. So it's 20-foot gap.
Car, knowing that the rest of them aren't going to be able to follow, and Zed possessed not going to stop, Car will just fly over and follow him.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna run after him. I mean, can't lose him, but also before I get to that hole, I'm gonna scoop up some dirt and just throw it over the hole to see if it was is it just an illusory hole, or did he just float over it normally?
Indiana Jones doesn't look like it's there, but it's a rock pathway type deal.
Well, I mean, it was a little faster than I thought you guys would do, but as soon as you throw the dirt there, you do see there seems to be a walk. There's a spot about 5 feet in length where the dirt just seems to stay where it is. Very good.
Good job, Yoon.
That's why Yoon's the leader. He's so smart.
Mm-hmm.
That answer, Evan.
You see,
Throwing. So it's like
You
throwing
see-
dirt down holes. You guys don't do that.
yeah. You see Fang just I still don't know. I don't think so. I don't think that's right. Don't go down there. Ogre, don't walk on that. Just to be safe, Nala flies over. Not gonna.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna attentively take like that first step, to see if it's solid, and then if it is, then I'll walk across.
And you see Yoon just fall. No,
Yoon 2 steps in.
And it just stopped. It full Looney Tunes.
We didn't see any like markings where like other people had died, and they're like we could see the ghosts of.
Yeah. Very cool. I mean, there's nothing else that's kind of like marked in this room, so you guys kind of walk through that pathway. There's a small. Okay, cool. So there's a small sort of space that you guys have to get skinny again, but you don't see any sort of depictions of anything on there. And you come to a cave room. That I would say, give me perception checks, everybody.
$18.
13.
3.
13.
8.
Car, you have advantage.
Did you say advantage?
Yes.
Okay. Huh. Nat 1. I'll take the 8.
Right.
Adim's back.
Yaris, did you get the 13?
Yes, I got 13. Yep.
I'm giving you beginner's luck.
Cool.
So I'll take that D4.
That is a 3. 16.
All right.
Cool.
Okay. Someone rolled an 18, right?
Me.
Cool. Ogre, you hear something weird before you're able to come into this room. You hear this, like, sort of... It's almost like someone's whispering to you in your head. It's not directional. But as you walk into this room, you get the feeling that the things that you're hearing in your head seem to be matching up a little bit with something that you're seeing. And I'll present it to all of you now.
I don't like this screen.
Oh boy, yeah.
Ew.
Ahead of you, you see a stone platform. Seems to be different stone than what the mountain is made out of. Has a deeper sort of red texture to it. But the thing that catches your eye the most in here, for those that have dark vision, and for the rest, you wait until Nala catches up and you kind of see. You notice that the wall itself seems to have almost like a mural, but the mural is shifting and moving. You see darkened images of what looks to be at first a hand, then a face. You see a leg, and a couple other faces. And every time you're hearing those, every time you're seeing those faces, Ogre, you're hearing this. It's clear there's something here that is trying to communicate with you, but can't continue because they are moving in and out of the mural, kind of just like moving like left and right, and also like up and down. You see some of them seem to be like a little bit more extended out, almost like as if they're being held by this like liquid-like sort of texture, this deep sort of shiny. If you had to pick a color, it'd be green, but it almost seems like it might even be blue or purple. It's one of those like sort of shades of, it's hard to determine the what do you guys do? I'll put your minis where they would be.
If no one else can hear that, I think it's coming from the moving wall, but it's going in and out. Does anyone else hear that?
What is it that I can't hear exactly?
Like,
I will move closer to it, hoping that maybe my spirit can understand it.
Okay. I'm gonna put yours. Oh, there you are. I'm gonna put them in order right now, and then we'll go from there. So it should be. It looks like Zed has stopped. So Car, you're moving forward.
Yeah, I do so slowly, like looking at the people I'm passing to make sure that none of them. I'm like, if they try to stop me, I'm going to stop. I'm not going to,
Okay.
How
far forward do you think you go?
How far do I need to get to see what's happening on the platform, given that I have no dark vision?
That's a good question. Honestly, pretty dang close. You have to get to about where Zed is.
I'll play car. It seems like a spirit thing, so I get to about where Zed is. But I'll be center, so I don't want to be right next to Zed.
You got it. Give me a okay. Give me a wisdom saving throw. I will say you have advantage on it.
Okay. 5.
Wait. Can I? Never mind. This would be stupid.
It wouldn't really help that much anyway.
Yeah, don't do it.
No,
already
it wasn't
had
going to be
advantage,
guidance.
Cool.
I figured it was going to be muffins, but
It was.
that wouldn't have helped anyway.
No, if I rolled a 2, it would have.
Oh, it lets you re-roll wisdom saves or something? No, never mind. It's fine.
Gives you advantage.
You already had advantage. I thought. Is the passage, is the right side blocked off there, or is that like a passage to somewhere else?
It looks like this is the dead end.
Okay, this is it. All right.
So Carr peers into it as if he's listening. Joe, can you move me a little closer?
Yeah.
As he says happily, yes.
I can't believe you put yourself on that platform.
Yeah, and I'm trying to see. It looks like if I'm trying to listen to something, and I keep going.
Okay. You see Carr reach into the mural, seems to be able to move through it, and puts his whole body in, wings and all. You see Nala just kind of shout out, "Wait, no, stop!"
Does the image change? The riding things change as he goes into them? And is he going into just that sort of like middle part that's not stone, or did he kind of walk through the wall?
It seems like he goes right through the mural itself, which is that middle part. You see the movement of the bodies around seem to move a little quicker, as if moving through water and having that ripple out. But you don't see any other change other than that.
Ogre's gonna run to that thing and try to stick her stick in there, like.
Cool. You got it.
And just yell out, "Car, grab it!"
Cool. Give me a wisdom saving throw.
Mm-hmm. I can't guidance myself, can I?
No.
You can. Okay.
Not for this.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I'm not a fan of it either. Anyway.
Wisdom, that's going to be a 21.
Okay. With a 21, you hear the whispers and the voices get louder and start to deafen you are currently deafened. You can't hear anything else. So Ogre, you are just definitely yelling for Carr to grab the stick. You don't see or feel anything on the other end right now.
I mean,
just curious, did my spirit come with me, or is it still outside, or is it gone?
I'd say it either went with you or it's gone.
It probably went with me then. Okay, if you don't mind.
It depends on where you're going.
Right.
I'll say, like, in the idea of this scene.
So it's not in the room. That's the important part.
It's not in the room. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, are we leaving him in there, or are we just gonna go in?
Go in.
Riaris, give me a religion check.
Sorry, yeah, I disconnected there. I lost internet for a couple minutes. I'll give you a religion check. I think Rios will go in. I don't know what's happening.
That's what I just asked, like, whether we're going in. That's kind of what
I don't know, but I feel
oh.
like I'll probably go in. I got a 15 on religion.
15. You hear, as you see Carr go in and disappear, you hear from Talia. This may lead to somewhere dark. A place, a timeline, I don't know, some place that is darker than this. But if it is forward, then I say we go forward.
Man, I don't even know. You think this leads to another timeline? This?
I don't know. All your friends were saying that.
Let's find out.
Okay.
Go forward.
And there's only one road forward. Take it with a smile.
You got it. And one by one, you all walk in through the mural. I think Nala looking around. I don't know where Drew went.
I was going to say, Riaris grab Zed.
Drew,
is he still possessed? Or?
There he is.
Zed, give me a perception check.
All right. Uh, 25.
Cool. I'll say as soon as Riaris goes through, Zed, you're no longer possessed.
Hmm.
You go through?
Yeah. I turn around to the group as I go through, smiling, and just go through backwards.
Hell yeah.
Okie dokie.
Okie dokie. Especially good. Yeah.
All right. So, Who does that leave that hasn't gone through yet?
Oh,
It's just
I'm so sorry. I just realized right now Nav is not on. I'm so sorry.
I was here the entire time. No, you're all good.
all right. So it's Nav, Nala, and Ogra that haven't gone through yet.
Right.
Okay. So this is a long shot, but I'm gonna pull out my blowgun.
Okay.
I'm gonna get close to the wall. I'm gonna put it
Okay.
halfway through, and I'm gonna look through the blowgun to see if I can see anything through it, like it's breaking the image through. Since it's like a solid tube, if I can
Okay.
see it through.
Give me a wisdom saving throw.
18.
Cool. Zed, you get pulled right through. I didn't hate the idea. I like if you beat the DC, I would allow it, but yeah. Nala looks at Kaelinor and goes, "The only way out
is through. Come on, Nala, let's go. And then Kay's just gonna start like marching towards the where everyone else has gone.
Cool. You see, as you march forward, you see, you actually feel yourself, you feel resistance as you look back and you see Nala has your hand. Okay. Yeah, I'm,
You ready?
sorry, I just,
We can take it slow. And I kind of hold her hand. We do it together.
okay.
And I count to 3. 1, 2, 3, and we step in together.
Ogra, you feel a tap on your stick.
Can I look at the image? Has it changed since we've moved? Like, is it staying still or continuously moving?
It's always continuously moving.
Ogre does not like this, but everyone else left. So she will go inside.
You got it. For a moment, you all are unconscious. You're not able to really understand or perceive whatever realm, wormhole, whatever you want to call it that you come into. But what happens is something that you're not aware of in character. And so therefore the audience isn't even aware of. Everything just fades to black at this moment. Before we end tonight, I need everybody to roll me a very important d20.
$14.
15.
10.
Okay.
17.
That would be a 1.
5.
Ogre, no, sorry. Who am I missing? Yoon, what'd you get?
17.
Okay.
Is Nala and Fang gonna roll as well?
Fang is with you. Actually, no, I should roll for Fang. Fang is with you. Okay. Kar, Kaelinor, Yoon, Nala.
I flew away.
Mm-hmm.
You all come out the other side, seemingly as if a mirror. As you come out, you look around, and the cave of the room that you're in looks different. It's hard to put your finger on it. But one of the things that you definitely notice is the 4 creatures that are standing in front of you. They seem to be, you see gray skin, spiked, what looks like could be hair, but could also just be horns on the top of their head. They all seem to be carrying staves, some of which looks to be clubs that are spiked. And 2 of them seem to have massive things on their back that almost looks like a dagger, except that it's just way too wide and way too big. You see them all kind of looking at you with beady eyes that blink as they seem to look at you as if you're something or someone they've never seen before. Fang, Ogra, Riaris, and Zed. You guys come out, and you see no one, including the rest of your party. And with that, we're going to end tonight's session. We'll see you guys next week.